see Ken Griffey Jr. go off for the Seattle Mariners. The Mariners and the Tigers from the corner of Michigan and Trumbull. Welcome to Tiger Stadium. Welcome to Fox's coverage of Major League Baseball. Josh Lewin along with George Brett. Ken Griffey Jr. is our focus today, of course. He's got 41 home runs. Lately, it hasn't seemed to be enough.
Well, I talked to Kenny Griffey this morning, and he told me the reason he's not hitting any home runs is he's getting old. I feel sorry for him. He's 28 years old now. I also talked to his hitting coach, Jesse Barfield. Jesse said he's just been a little impatient trying to pull the outside pitch. Today, his game plan is to try to drive the ball up the middle, react to the ball in. If he does that, I think someone in the right field seats is going to go home with a very nice souvenir, Josh.
He's got 10 career home runs at this ballpark. He's not the only left-handed slugger we'll be tracking today. Bobby Higginson, pretty good young hitter for the Tigers.
Bobby Higginson's really come into his own the last couple of years. This year, he's having another great year. He's got over 20 home runs. They also have a guy named Clark, first baseman, 25 home runs. And then they got Damon Easley, who's really been a solid player for these guys. These guys are the nucleus of this ball club. They're going to open their new stadium in the year 2000. These are the three guys that are going to open that stadium. Hopefully they'll be able to mix in some younger players, blend them together. And if that's the case, these guys are going to be tough again.
Youth will be served on the mound today as well. A 23-year-old against a 24-year-old as Ken Cloud takes on Brian Powell.
Two young pitchers, haven't been around that long. You never know what you're going to expect from these guys. And I know, Josh, the first 2 weeks we did these games, I predicted a lot of offense. Today, I think that might come true.
Yeah, well, third time a charm, maybe. We'll see. Fox Sports, home of the 1998 World Series, will return after this word from your local Fox station.
You're watching Fox Saturday Baseball Game of the Week.
From Detroit, Fox Saturday, baseball. For your pleasure today, the Mariners and the Tigers. And a very steamy summer afternoon here at Tiger Stadium. The MCI starting lineup for the Seattle Mariners. We'll check it out right now. And you'll notice, as you peruse it, Joey Cora and Alex Rodriguez. That's not a surprise, but note what's next to Ken Griffey Jr.'s name, DH, which moves Edgar Martinez to first. He's been very good of late. Russ Davis, he's been struggling defensively. He's the third baseman. Shane Monahan in left, Raul Ibanez in right. No Jay Buhner today. John Marzano catching Rob Ducey in center. Doubleheader yesterday, so some of the regulars getting some time off, or in Griffey's case, at least he gets the DH instead of play center field. And defensively for the Tigers, the numbers next to the names are the ages of
They've been playing pretty good defense as of late, too. This Alvarez kid at third base, everybody on the Tigers is real high with him. Shortstop, Cruz. What a player. This guy's made... But these guys are very young, and when you think young, sometimes you think age 20, 21, 22. We're going young by major league experience here. These guys haven't been playing in the big leagues very long.
Tigers losers in 4 in a row, 8 out of 10. And though originally we thought we might see some rain this afternoon, none of it for now, at least. We mentioned kind of a sultry afternoon here. High humidity, but big crowd turning out. Beanie Baby Day. Stripes the Tiger, as a matter of fact.
And I got 3. How many did you get, Josh?
I got none.
I got 3 for my 3 boys at home, and I'm going to give them to them tonight when I arrive in Kansas City.
All right, well, I'll start working on that in just a moment for my kids. We've got an umpire situation to apprise you of. Bill Miller, the home plate umpire today. Dale Scott at first, Dave Phillips at second. And Detroit native Rocky Rowe is at third base. There you see Rocky played his college ball at Eastern Michigan University, just about 25 minutes from here. Brian Powell on the mound for the Detroit Tigers. He's only 24 years old, and that's the thing that scares you in the yellow. 11 home runs allowed in only 38 innings.
His problem is with 2 strikes, he just hasn't learned to put hitters away yet. He gets them 0-2, 1-2, and the next thing you know, he throws one middle of the plate, and the guy hits it pretty good. A good, experienced pitcher. That's when he has the hitter, when it's 0-2, 1-2. But he's had trouble getting guys out when he's been ahead in the count.
And potentially, as you look at 11 home runs in 38 innings, that would be, you would think, good news for Ken Griffey Jr., but doesn't always work out that way. Pete Rose used to say that the toughest pitchers are the ones I've never faced. And if memory serves, 20 years ago, it was a guy named Larry McWilliams for the Atlanta Braves who he had never seen before that stopped that 44-game hitting streak. Ken Griffey Jr. doesn't know anything about Brian Powell except for what he's seen on TV.
And Brian Powell knows how to pitch Kenny Griffey. Believe me, I'm sure the pitching coach, Rick Adair, has went over this many, many times with him this morning already.
This broadcast also available in Spanish by utilizing the SAP button on your television. And as Joey Cora gets ready, I see George Brett is getting ready too. You got the glove working.
We are close. Everybody told me when you go to Detroit, bring a glove. Well, I brought one.
He's going to duck behind some monitors here. As Joey Cora takes a strike to begin the ball game. See, you're all set. But can you lay out this way?
I'm quick. I am quick, Josh. Don't worry about it.
We'll end that who's the greatest third baseman of all time debate quickly today, Brett or Schmidt.
Well, I would like to have Brooks Robinson sitting next to me if I was up here in the booth.
Missing to Joey Cora. Actually, you and Mike Schmidt, I believe, had the exact same number of runs batted in at the ends of your respective careers. That's amazing. Did you guys get together on that, or
something I wasn't aware of?
Fly ball to left field, and Trey Beeman fighting the glare of the sun. He takes it. 1,595 runs batted in for you. 1,595 for Schmidt. We got to go to a tiebreak.
We'll see what he did in spring training his last year.
Here's a guy who's been knocking in some runs too. 91 of them, as a matter of fact, and he just turned 23 years old.
Yeah, I don't like his future in the game, do you? Probably going to be a 40-40 club this year.
Popping this one into foul territory. Paul Bacco on the move, and he can't get it.
When I say 40-40, that's 40 home runs, 40 stolen bases.
Watch Paul Bacco chasing this.
He's close. He had a little bit more room. I bet he catches that ball if it's the Detroit Tiger dugout he's close to. You don't get a lot of help from the Mariners over by their dugout during a foul ball like that. They would have had 2 or 3 guys in the Tigers letting him know he was all right, all right, all right.
There is an error charged to Paul Bacco on that play. Quickly, 2 strikes to Alex Rodriguez. He and Griffey have combined already for 75 home runs. The Pittsburgh Pirates as a team, they've got 72. Well, that's some thunder up in the 2-3 spot of your lineup.
Especially number 2. You might think you'd see that 3 and 4. That's 2 and 3.
In the air to right field, Bobby Higginson has a beat on it, and he puts it away. That's a nice start for Brian Powell. Always better to have nobody on base for Ken Griffey Jr. That's what he's facing here.
That's a situation you like. When Sosa, Griffey, McGuire, all those big bombers come up, you want to pitch to them with nobody on base.
Griffey, Sosa, McGuire, all of them under the Klieg lights, every at-bat scrutinized from up close. And George, in 1980, you went through the same thing, chasing a 400 batting average, the scrutiny, the same questions from the same reporters day after day.
It was tough for a while. The Royals were very, very helpful to me in one respect. Every day I'd get to the ballpark, the PR director, Dean Vogelaar, would have a press conference with all the media. We'd do it for a half hour before every game and a half hour after every game.
I don't want to know. He takes and a rather extreme shift in play here as the Tigers try and defend Ken Griffey.
Yesterday they did the same thing. In his first at-bat he was going to bunt. Tried to bunt a couple down the third base line.
Buddy Bell, like Ken Griffey Jr., a graduate of Moeller High School in Cincinnati. Buddy Bell says he used to go watch Ken Griffey swing the bat and also play some football.
Played football the same way. Very nonchalantly, but was a very, very good football player. Great athlete.
On 3-0, he tees off and he fouls it. Now keep in mind, Griffey has not homered since July 30th, and Buddy Bell, very well aware of that fact. You get the sense that Griffey is due. When he hits him in bunches. In the air to left, and Trey Beeman, shy of the warning track, will put it away. 3 fly ball outs and Brian Powell out of the inning. Here comes Hunter, Beeman, and Higginson for the Tigers.
Babe Ruth is up.
Stadium no score into the bottom of the first inning, and the MCI starting lineup for the Detroit Tigers today, featuring Brian Hunter, Trey Beeman, and Bobby Higginson in the upper third of it. Then Tony Clark, Damian Easley. And Damian Easley has had a terrific season. Frank Catalanato, the DH, Gabe Alvarez at third. Paul Bacco doing the catching. Davey Cruz is the Tiger shortstop. He's a good one. Seattle defensively, that is not the outfield you've grown up with. Shane Monahan, Rob Ducey, Raul Ibanez. Again, Griffey is DHing today, and Russ Davis having all kinds of trouble. More on that coming up, and we'll get you Brian Hunter's at bat against Ken Cloud. But first, Sammy Sosa digging in. Cubs against the Cardinals. Let's join Joe Buck.
We'd like to welcome those of you who have been watching Seattle and Detroit. You are in St. Louis now, and you're watching Sammy Sosa walking to the plate with a mixed reaction in this crowd. Every time the Cardinals and Cubs hook up, you see as many Cardinal fans in Wrigley as you do Cub fans, and vice versa here in St. Louis. So Sosa with his 43 home runs. That guy has 45. 1 on, 2 out. First inning, no score. Donovan Osborne, first start in 3 months. And a ball low to Sosa. As will be the case when McGuire's at the plate, you'll see the Cubs lining the top step of the dugout. The Cardinals checking out Sosa, and that's strike 1.
Joe, it's fashionable in our business to pit a guy like Sosa against a guy like McGuire, when normally the players really don't think of it like that. They say you got to go out and beat the other guys. But this, as much as any, is a matchup of Sosa versus McGuire.
1 ball, 1 strike on Sosa. And Osborne wants to slow it down. Donovan Osborne comes in with a record of just 1-2, only his 6th start of the year, and what a perfect day for him to come back in front of a standing room only crowd here in St. Louis to take on Sosa and the Cubs. 2-1. Mark McGuire hits third for the Cardinals. We'll see him in the bottom of the first inning, and if it gives us the opportunity to shoot that to the folks watching Seattle and Detroit, we'll do the same there. 2 balls and a strike, and that's into right and should end the inning. Jordan is there to make the play. Sosa 0 for 1.
Well, that's all right. So is Ken Griffey Jr. so far today. And Stan Williams, the steamer, out there to talk to his young pitcher, Ken Cloud. Cloud walked Brian Hunter. Not a guy who walks very often, but a Hunter aboard. And now it's a ball and no strikes to Trey Beeman. Stan Williams going out there to tell Ken Cloud to settle it down early. Cloud was belted around pretty decently here at Tiger Stadium back in May. Tony Clark ripped him for a 3-run homer. Damian Easley a 2-run shot. There's a strike on the inside half.
It's his first strike he's thrown. He threw 5 straight balls to start the game. And when you called Stan Williams a steamer, he was steaming out there. He was yelling at that pitcher. It worked, whatever he said.
Well, the reason they made the change in large measure, Stan Williams taking over for Nardi Contreras, they didn't want kinder and gentler being a pitching coach. They wanted somebody to shake it up. As Beeman waves and misses. Always have to watch out for Brian Hunter. He's way down. He had 74 stolen bases last year, but still 28 in 38 tries. That means you got to at least pay some attention. play. Still 1-2 to Trey Beeman.
With Cloud's time going the first two, I think he's 1.64. That's really slow for a pitcher, so he can go if he gets a good jump. But sometimes in ballparks like this, if this guy's throwing fastballs, Beeman might be a better fastball hitter. He's going to stay there and give him a chance to hit a fastball rather than that good slider. But I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't run this at bat.
Scampering back to first, and Ken Cloud, on this date last year, George, is when he was first summoned to the major league, straight from Double-A. He debuted the next day on Fox with 6 innings of no-hit ball. And nowhere to go but down after that.
In his hometown, Baltimore.
On the ground, that is foul, but Edgar Martinez showing the David Segui range over there.
I was talking to him before the game. He said he was so sore. He only played one other game at first all year, and that was in Phoenix against the Diamondbacks in interleague play. And he played the first game of the doubleheader yesterday. I saw him in the locker room. I said, have you taken your Whirlpool yet? He said, I'm just going in right now, and that was about 10 o'clock this morning.
In there because David Segui has a sore knee. The knee locked up on him. All he was doing was trying to sit up and get off his stool in the clubhouse. And the knee locked up on him, so Segui missed a doubleheader yesterday. He should miss the rest of this series.
Yeah, they haven't made a decision yet whether to put him on the disabled list or not, but I asked Lou today if he might be able to pinch hit, and he said not today.
To right field, down for a base hit. Ibanez gets it back in, but Hunter speeds around to third. Runners at the corners for the Tigers.
And the 3 guys they have coming up are the 3 guys they want. When these guys hit, that's when they win ball games. They got their RBIs coming up right now. Look like a little slider. Hunter knew it was a base hit right from the start. Even with the short fence in right field, he knew he could make it to third base on that.
He's got those long loping strides, and just in terms of number of steps it takes to get from second base to third, that's got to be among the fewest in baseball. Higginson out in front of the changeup. It's 0-1, and you made the point, George. It's a great one with this Tiger team. The 3, 4, 5 in the order can really hurt you, but the on-base percentage of their leadoff men this year, it's been under 300, and the number 2 spot hasn't been much better. So that's why Ken Cloud might really be in trouble right now. Already a couple on, nobody out. Up and over his head.
How did he get out of the way of that?
By mistake.
That ball was behind him. If he tries to back up, it's going to hit him right in the back.
To watch the eyes of Bobby Higginson, he is one of the more intense competitors anyway, and after something like that, the eyes only flash a little more.
Bobby Higginson cannot believe that ball did not hit him right in the spine.
Mark McGwire is on deck getting ready. We'll get you there coming up as a run's going to score here on a double play. 1-0 Detroit. We take you to Mark McGwire's at bat.
Welcome back. Welcome back to all of you watching the Seattle Mariners and the Detroit Tigers. Here's McGwire. He has hit 45, and he takes a ball low from Clark. He has gone 28 bats without going deep, which is cause for alarm in St. Louis and across the world of baseball. Just a little inside, 2-0.
0 for his last 28, and he has not homered since July 28.
2 balls, no strikes on McGwire, and that's one. The inside corner, 2-1. This place becomes eerily quiet. The standing room only crowd when McGwire is at the plate. 3-1. And the crowd starts to boo. I think Jeff Blauser just booed Mark Clark. Come on, pitch to him. 3-1. Into right center field. Is it enough? Glenn Allen Hill is staggering and finally makes the catch. Better you than me, pal.
Tony Clark at bat here, and he drives one down the left field line. your local newspaper has been tracking a home run derby with a little tote board, you probably noticed the number next to Roger Maris has been holding at 41 for a long time. By this time, 8 days from now, that number next to Maris is going to read 48. Because August 11th to August 16th of 1961, Maris went on a tear. 7 homers in a 6-day stretch. Clark is down on strikes. A good changeup. Cloud works out of the inning. He allows just the 1 run and came in on a double play ball. And we'll be back after this.
Every kid growing up in Boston.
Edgar Martinez leads it off for the Seattle Mariners as we move now to the 2nd inning. Josh Lewin, George Brett is part of Fox's Saturday afternoon Major League Baseball coverage. Follow us all the way through the NLCS right on to the '98 World Series. And George, that's the place I think the Mariners and their fans thought they could be in 1998. It hasn't worked out for Lou Piniella.
It's been a tough year for Seattle. They expected so much. Things haven't gone right, starting off with the bullpen early in the season. The one thing Lou was telling me was that the travel that the Mariners have, they fly more than any other team because they're in such an isolated spot. And his depth isn't that good, and he can't afford to give guys days off, and they're getting tired. That's what's great about Griffey today, getting a DH this game after a doubleheader last night, in which he covered a ton of ground in center field.
Yes, and Edgar Martinez into the field playing first base, drives one into left center. Down for a base hit. Brian Hunter backhands, and Martinez will be held to a single. First hit of the afternoon for the Seattle Mariners.
Josh, Edgar Martinez, he can hit anywhere and anytime. This guy has been one of the best hitters in the league for about the last 7 or 8 years. Got some batting titles under his belt for a right-handed hitter. That's very unheard of these days. It's always fun, too, for a DH to go out there and play a position on occasion.
Russ Davis, the hitter, takes a strike. And the thing about Martinez, Larry Parrish was telling us, one of the coaches for the Tigers, when you hear the phrase, a guy who spreads the defense, you think about basketball or football. That's what Martinez does. He hits the ball hard from line to line, and the outfielders have to fan out. And you wonder why the guy is good for 50 doubles a year. That's probably it.
Well, his doubles aren't line drives down the third baseline. His doubles are line drives down the first baseline, and the gap in right center, gap in left center. And he doesn't run very well.
That's right. There's the Ozzie Smith
double.
Artificial turf
There's
double.
a Willie Wilson double.
That's right. And then there's Edgar's doubles, which are thunder shots.
I'm sure he's not feeling very good today.
Pass Davy Cruz into left field, and the Mariners now with the couple on, nobody out, just what the Tigers had in the bottom of the first. So young Brian Powell, who was very good last time out, going to have to work through Monahan, Ibanez, and Marzano now. It's all about command with Brian Powell. That's what we began talking about at the beginning of the ball game. And a guy that you're intimately familiar with, Tim McClelland, the guy that had a little pine tar issue with you 15 years ago. He was a home plate umpire last time Brian Powell was on the mound. And Tim McClelland said that that's the best command he's seen this year, other than David Wells' perfect game. And McClelland had the plate for that game, too. That's pretty high praise.
That's very nice.
Monahan tips one foul. You've got a rookie home plate umpire today in Bill Miller. And we're kind of waiting to see what his zone is like as we progress today.
Well, that's the thing with Powell and other young pitchers. They can show signs of brilliance, and the next outing just go out and not have their good stuff. And they don't know how to win without their good stuff. A guy like Mussina, a guy like Randy Johnson, they can go out there and still dominate a game, keep their team in a game without their good stuff.
Shane Monahan backs away. It is 1-1, 1-0 the score. Detroit over Seattle. We are tracking the Powerball players today on Fox. Ken Griffey Jr. here, Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire in St. Louis. Got the glove, got the glove.
I forgot to put the glove on. I only need the glove with a left-handed batter up. A right-handed batter, it's almost impossible to hit a foul ball behind him a little bit.
Oh, really?
But with a left-handed batter, you need this glove because we are, what, 50 feet behind home plate?
Gotta be. By the way, when Damian Easley's up, he's put 2 in this booth this year. He's a right-hand hitter.
I said almost impossible. I didn't say impossible. Almost impossible.
I just don't want you to let your guard down is all. When you're doing so well, having such a good time here, the last thing we need is a ball in the coconut here from Damian Easley.
Last week at Wrigley Field, we were so high, really wasn't afraid. But here, if a ball hits you, it could really hurt you.
It's a man who played the hot corner for 18 years. Monahan tips it, and a foul ball. He'll stay alive.
There's a good slider right there. Ball in the dirt. He must have got a foul tip. Obviously, he got a foul tip.
Powell hasn't recorded a ground ball out yet. He's looking for the ground ball here with 2 on. He'll settle for a strikeout, too. Powell tipped back into the glove of Paul Bacco. Folks, next week on Fox Saturday Baseball, huge goings-on as Griffey meets Albert Bell at Comiskey. The Rangers and the Yankees, who I believe are 107-5 or something like that. The Orioles and the Indians. It all begins within the zone at 12:30 Eastern, 11:30 Central on Fox.
107-5?
Well, all right, that's hyperbole. 82-29. And on pace to be the best team ever, at least statistically. Possible playoff preview. The Yankees and the Texas Rangers as Powell misses low. Raul Ibanez is the batter. What's going to be interesting, it appears, is that wild card race. The Orioles feel like they're back in it.
They made a great run there, didn't they?
Oh, yeah.
The Orioles 17 out of 20, I think, at one time. Made a great run.
They are right now 7.5 games out, but remember, they've got 6 games left head-to-head with the Red Sox, including the last 4 of the season at Fenway.
They are in it. Oriole fans, don't give up the season.
Down and in, 2-1 to Ibanez, who just came up from AAA Tacoma yesterday.
Sure, he's a little excited not only to be in the big leagues, but to be a left-handed hitter in this ballpark.
Humid day, wind blowing out. On the ground, Davy Cruz goes to the hole, the backhand. He's got 1. They will not get 2. Tony Clark leaping to bring it down. He's 6-7.5 to start with. It'll be runners at the corners and 2 out in the inning.
It's a good play. Cruz goes a long way to his right to get this ball. That's not a double play ball. There's no way they're going to turn that. But he gives Easley a good throw at first base. Easley could have sat on the ball, but he decided to throw it. No play at first base, but got the good play by getting the runner at second base there.
On display today, 2 of the better arms, at least the 2 shortstops that we'll take a look at between Davy Cruz and Alex Rodriguez. And that second baseman that the Tigers have, Damian Easley, pretty fair fielder himself. In fact, he's got the best fielding percentage of anybody in the American League at second base.
That's why they brought him up. Jumped all the way from A-League.
Down and outside, it's a ball, no strikes to John Marzano. Alex Rodriguez on the left. He gets a lot more publicity. He hits about 30 more home runs than Davy Cruz, but Cruz can pick it.
And hits about 60 points higher.
Ball and a strike to John Marzano. And we really are in a golden age with shortstops, especially in this American League. You look at Nomar Garciaparra and Alex Rodriguez, Jeter,
Omar Vizquel.
And before too long, Davy Cruz could kind of nudge in there, too. He's only 22 years old.
Now, that is young for me. 22 years old is young. Not these 27, 26, 27, 28-year-old guys. They're young in lack of experience because they've only been in the big leagues 2 or 3 years. But I was talking to Buddy Bell earlier.
1-1 coming, and that one's in for a strike.
Buddy came up to the big leagues when he was 20. Larry Parrish came up when he was 20. I came up when I was 20. We were considered young ball players then. Nowadays, a young ball player is 26, 27.
John Marzano was 35, by the way. Thought about going after the slider. He pulled back. And the count levels up 2-2.
Josh, he's not a young kid. John Marzano. A well-traveled 35-year-old guy, too.
Well, this is a guy that was Roger Clemens' personal catcher in Boston for a while. And here in Seattle, he had the pleasure of catching Randy Johnson. That's pretty good. Tell your kids about that someday, huh?
Yeah. Two of the best.
Right back, Brian Powell has it, and he will get out of the inning. It was 2 on, nobody out. Powell roars back with a strikeout and a couple of bounce outs. Damian Easley leads off for the Tigers after this.
By Foot Locker. Foot Locker reminds you to play big. By MCI 5-cent Sundays. Pay the least on the day you call the most. And by MasterCard, official card of Major League Baseball and fan of the great American pastime.
Pause hanging at the corner here today. Crowd of about 35,000. Beanie Baby Day here at Tiger Stadium. A very young crowd. They gave out Stripes the Tiger to the first 10,000 kids that were in the ballpark today. And so far, the kids are happy. 1-0 Detroit. Damian Easley, a terrific fastball hitter, facing a guy with a terrific fastball, Ken Cloud. Starts him off with a change. That's probably a good idea.
Well, Damian Easley loves that first ball fastball. He loves fastballs in any count. Feasts on them. And that's where you got to throw it.
In on the inside corner, 2 strikes to Damian Easley. It'll be Catalanato and Alvarez after that. Backs him off the plate, 1-2.
Josh, Cloud's throwing pretty hard today. 93, 95 miles an hour.
They love his future. Just 23 years old. Look out, 2 balls, 2 strikes. And when the Mariners are at their new Safeco Field in the next millennium, they figure Cloud maybe to be the ace of the staff by then.
Well, the one thing he's doing today that really impresses me is he's not afraid to throw it inside.
And now he gets easily to chase one down and away.
And when you throw 2 or 3 inside like that, like he just did to Easley, and then you go back with that soft slider away, that's how you get people out in the big leagues.
1 down, and let's scout Mr. Cloud for you.
Well, he's got a really hard fastball. He's got a good quick slider, which you just saw right there. His off-speed pitch needs some development. And he's not afraid to throw inside. He's not afraid to throw inside. He's worked with Stan Williams. He listens to Stan Williams. He tries new things.
There's that changeup, and Catalanato is down 0-2. Well, the other thing that Stan Williams said, look, you want to be a leader, you want to be an ace, you got to give us 8 innings to start, big fella, and that's exactly what he did last time out. 8 innings of 5-hit ball for a W.
Well, he just keeps going inside, doesn't he?
Well, and Stan Williams was famous for that in his day. Missing away here squares the count at 2-2. Place, and again missing 3 balls, 2 strikes. Tigers leading it on a Bobby Higginson ground ball double play that scored Brian Hunter. Twisted to shallow left center, everybody running. Monahan won't get there, it's under his glove. Catalanato speeds to second, he's got a double.
I'll
plays a double because he busted right out of the plate. He ran hard all the way to first base. Saw the ball was going to drop and just kept on going. That is not an Edgar Martinez double.
Loops it down in front of Shane Monahan. Well, watch Catalinato, real speed.
He knows. He's running hard. You get a lot of that with young players, Josh.
Another youngster up there, Gabe Alvarez, eyeballs the strike. And again, Cloud not shy about starting off with that first pitch change.
And he's not afraid to come inside on this pitch either.
You're right, and right on the black to make it 0-2 again. 3 batters this inning. They've all been 0-2 against Ken Cloud. And this fellow, Gabe Alvarez, plenty of power potential. 20 homers at AAA this year. 5 already here in the bigs.
This is a young kid that Buddy Bell is really excited about. Came over with Joe Randa from the Arizona Diamondbacks, which is kind of weird. 2 third basemen in the same trade.
Strike 3 called inside corner. He struck out 3 of the last 4 batters he's faced. And the inning left up to Paul Baca.
He's not afraid to pitch inside. What a great pitch right there. 1-2 fastball inside corner. You don't see that very often. I think he's starting to surprise people. Usually if it's 0-2, 1-2, a pitcher will throw a couple break-em balls away. This guy's just pounding him inside. He feels he's got a good fastball today. He's locating it well.
Runner at second, 2 down. Baco takes on the outside corner, strike 1. And the Tigers, in the recent series at Baltimore, felt very victimized by what they felt was a wide plate. And they let John Hirschbeck and Richie Garcia know all about that. The Tigers may be loath to complain anymore about any of the umpiring they've been receiving. This is a young team. Buddy Bell knows that if you're a veteran, you can get away with complaining about things. If you're Bobby Higginson and you're 27, they're not going to let you stand around and argue. And Higginson actually has been ejected in 2 of his last 4 games. In the air, left center. Monahan in pursuit, and he won't get there. Neither will Zusi. Catalinato scores. And a double for Paul Baca.
Ahead in the count again. Just trying to put him away. I thought that ball was going to be caught when he hit it.
Is it fair to say if Griffey's in center field today, that ball gets caught?
I think Ducey took a long route for that ball. He kind of circled.
Monahan was never going to get there. Here's Davy Cruz, and he takes, guess what, strike 1, the change up again to start off a Tiger hitter. Now 2 strikes to Davy Cruz, and he is among the better 2-strike hitters, not only on the team, but in the American League. We'll see how he handles Ken Cloud.
It's a strange game. Cloud's got great stuff, and he's losing 2-0 in the second inning.
Not this time for Davy Cruz. He's disposed of very quickly. We'll return for the 3rd inning following this word from your local Fox station. Fox is the home of the '98 World Series.
For in-your-face coverage, log on to foxsports.com.
Tonight at 6, Texas is held hostage.
Stay where you are, old man! Unless you want to die.
On the next.
So what do you think? He's the most dangerous man I've ever known.
Walker, Texas Ranger. Then at 7.
A kidnapping.
Nobody's gonna spoil it.
With 2 victims.
You can actually feel what she's going through.
And a nightmare that must be relived.
You're her best hope. Nobody's gonna spoil it.
Tonight, starting at 6 on Fox 49. Fox 49 Baseball, brought to you by Gap.
I got an original flow, and all my flows, they be so original. That's why y'all like to bite my videos. All y'all know, but y'all don't wanna hear me though. I'm too original, Buster, what the dealio? You think they know, by now they just too silly, yo. Why they can't roll, cause they don't be feeling it. I'm just too different with original fit. Fall into the gap.
Greetings, Earthlings. New Galactic Gushers has landed. Special cosmic pieces have invaded every pouch of Gushers. A taste go out of this world.
They'll send you into orbit.
So deliciously spacey. Observe its weird color and buffy surface. Its explosive, fruity green alien center. There's nothing like them on Earth. New Galactic Gushers, only visiting this planet for a short time.
People ask me why I named my dog after my truck. Well, I'll show you. Come here, Ranger. Ranger the truck has a big V6 and switch-on 4-wheel drive, which means it can go anywhere it wants. Ranger the dog has huge paws and big teeth, and he goes wherever he wants. Ranger the truck looks tough with a new look and a flare-side vest. Ranger the dog looks, well, just look at him.
Take 1,000 cash back or 0.9 financing, which saves you $2,500.
One more similarity, anti-theft device.
24-year-old Brian Powell out there for his third inning of work today.
He's a typical young pitcher. He's got a pretty good fastball, good change, and a curve. He's got to keep the ball down for him to be successful. When the ball's down, it sinks a little bit. And when it sinks a little bit, he keeps him in the ballpark.
Deals a strike to Rob Ducey. And I guess when we say typical young pitcher, we're talking about just not knowing from one start to the next exactly what you're going to get.
Can show signs of brilliance and signs of a rookie. Ken Cloud today is showing us that he can pitch.
To Rob Ducey on 2-1, spots it on the corner 2-2. Precisely what served him so well in Tampa Bay at his last start 5 days ago.
Pinpoint control, Josh.
He's only walked 12 so far as a big leaguer, but he's allowed 11 home runs. That's been the issue. And there's number 12.
Nobody even moved.
Upper tank, Rob Ducey drives it out. And it is now 2-1.
Well, Ken Griffey didn't do that. We're complaining that he didn't get the ball. Ken Griffey would have got the ball in center field, and old Ducey does. The number 9 hitter has come in and hit a home run leading off the third inning. An upper deck shot, which is always fun in this ballpark.
That was a rope. And Ducey's third home run of the year.
Fastball down in the middle of the plate. A left-hander's dream.
And just as we're talking about location, that's exactly what comes back to bite Powell here. Joey Cora takes a fastball high 2-0.
We'll see how he handles a little adversity here, coming back after giving up a long one like he just did.
So far, not well. 3 balls, no strikes, and Baco out to the mound.
That's not what you want to see. You want to see the guy come right back, start challenging hitters, not be afraid to throw it over the strike, not trying to start nibbling at the corners, just go right after him. Joey Cora's only got 5 home runs. I know anybody can hit one here, but the chances of him hitting one obviously are not that high.
Especially not if it's over the plate. It's not close. A 4-pitch walk to Joey Cora, and now it's Rodriguez, Griffey, and Martinez, the thicket of the Seattle batting order.
As you see Alex's hot zone, everything is red, which it should be for him. I was talking to the Tigers today. They're going to try to pitch him here and there. Anything outside in this area, that's where they're going to try to pitch him.
swerves in there, 0-1.
He loves the ball in this area out here. Anything out in this area, he'll just hit the right center field. Out of his home runs this year, I think he's got 16 of them to the opposite field. Last year, he only had 4. He's turning on the ball in here very well.
And Alex Rodriguez just became the youngest player ever to go for a 30-30 season, 30 homers, 30 steals, and he had it done just a few days after his 23rd birthday. Trying to bunt, it came in and it hit him. Got him in the fingers. And let's see if Alex Rodriguez is going to be okay. Jim Thome was hit in the hand yesterday, the Cleveland slugger. He's going to miss 4 to 6 weeks, and hopefully for Rodriguez, this just a glancing blow. And that, by the way, is a foul ball, 0-2.
Oh, it got him right on the knuckles.
And the fingers wrapped around the bat. Look how they're wrapped there.
We might have a little problem here with his fingers. He's bending him all right. As you can see, he's got all his fingers wrapped around the bat.
On the outside, facing the ball. We'll take another
I don't
look.
know what they can be complaining about here.
A look and a listen coming here for you. Fox Sounds of the Game. Lou Piniella wanted this to be called a hit by pitch, but a foul ball is the call. It is 0-2.
Did that surprise you at all, Alex, turning around and bunting like that?
Yeah, it did. And especially to see the fingers curled around the bat the way he had them. Not exactly a Brett Butler push thing happening there. Now he reaches out and tags it into left center. Beeman in pursuit. He won't get there. Rodriguez comes right back and he doubles. Cora coming around third, coming to the plate. He will score. We're tied at 2. I guess the fingers are okay.
When I first saw it hit the fingers, I thought for sure he had a broken finger. He was just setting them up, I think. Good hitters do that, set up the opposing pitcher. Well, breaking ball away, didn't quite get it out far enough. Joey Cora never slowed down. As soon as he saw that ball was in the gap, he was scoring all the way.
So now a 2-2 game. First base is open as Ken Griffey Jr. steps in.
They pitched to him yesterday in this situation, Josh.
And he came up with a base hit. They stayed away from him. Seth Greisinger was the man on the mound in this situation. When the count got to 3-1, he drifted one back just enough over the plate where Griffey could turn on it. Again down and away, 2-0.
Notice they're not playing the shift now. They cannot play that same shift with Alex Rodriguez on second base. If that was the case, he would just walk to third. They got to play it more straight up now.
41 home runs for Griffey and a strike on the outside edge.
I think Griff scared him a little bit, that 3-0 pitch in the first inning when he came up. They pitched 3 pitches away outside the strike zone, threw one down the middle. He ripped the foul ball foul down the right field line.
Another 3-ball, 1-strike count. Quite a resume for Ken Griffey Jr. Will they get a hittable pitch on 3-1?
No,
not really. 3-2.
Talking to Buddy Bell before the game, we were talking about Ken Griffey Jr. And he kind of smiled and paused a little bit and says, you know, George, he might be the best player I've ever seen. And Buddy Bell's been around a long time and played against some really good players.
Fouled by Ken Griffey Jr. Here's how they tried to go after him in his first at-bat.
Well, this should be pretty simple. Fastball away. Fastball away and down. Fastball away. Well, I'm going to throw a fastball in. Uh-oh. I might not want to do that anymore. There's a fastball. Didn't have a little bit of the plate and down. He just got under a little bit.
3-2, runner at second, nobody out. And Griffey down on the slice. Fastball heat again.
Fastball down and away. Something we were talking about in the pregame show, Josh. If he can go up there and try to hit that ball to left center field, looks like he's trying to hit that ball to right center field. But if he can stay there and try to drive that ball the other way, as Jesse Barfield said, he thinks he can not only lead the league in home runs, but also in batting average. He gets a little too pull happy once in a while.
Still homerless since July 30th, as the slider misses in the dirt to Edgar Martinez. It's almost like panic is setting in. McGuire homerless in 29 at bats now. Griffey none since July the 30th. But as far as Griffey is concerned, from August 8th of last year through the end of last year, Griffey hit 21 home runs. If he does that again, 41 and 21 is 62. That would be a record.
That adds up.
Break a record that stood for 37 years. 3-0 to Edgar Martinez. Seattle's tied the game at 2 with 2 here in this third inning. And Buddy Bell couldn't have liked that very much. Edgar Martinez still very patient up there at the plate. Makes it first and second. Russ Davis will be the batter. Buddy Bell dispatches Rick Adair, the pitching coach. Rick Adair, a one-time Seattle Mariners prospect. By the way, tonight at 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific on FX, most of you will see the Red Sox battling the Rangers. Some of you will watch the Phillies and the Astros. Check your local listings for the game and time in your area on FX. And while we hang here in Detroit, Sammy Sosa coming up in St. Louis. Let's join Joe Buck and Tim McCarver.
Welcome to those of you watching Seattle and Detroit. We understand the Junior's 0 for 2, Sosa's 0 for 1, McGuire's 0 for 1, and this is Sammy's second at bat of the afternoon. He has hit 43 home runs. He fly to right his first time up. Cubs lead 1-0 here in the fourth inning. It's been a well-pitched game to this point. Ball 1 to Sosa. Start comparing the numbers with McGuire and Sosa. McGuire's hit 45 home runs. Sosa's hit 43. But Sosa's had 446 at-bats, while McGuire only 355. The main reason walks. McGuire's drawn 115. Sosa just 49.
Same with Ken Griffey Jr., who, by the way, is 0 for 2 this afternoon in that game up in Detroit, Seattle at Detroit. Sosa hitting here.
Swinging on 3-0, and it's 3-1. Might have chased one from Osborne there. 3 balls and a strike. One out, nobody on, and Sosa draws a 1-out walk.
All right, guys, thanks very much. And back here, a 3-ball no strike count to Russ Davis, as the Tigers coaching staff maybe getting a little bit worried about their youngster out there. 2 on, just 1 out. 2-2 ball game. And swinging on 3-0, Russ Davis guides it into center. And Hunter moves over and takes it. He'll fire in. Heading to third base is Alex Rodriguez, who was still flexing his fingers on that right hand moments ago. Remember, he got a hit on a foul ball. He tried to bunt it, and he had the fingers kind of coiled around the bat.
He's 38 years old. He's going to feel it for a long time. But how old is he? 23? He's going to be fine. Go and have a popsicle on the bus and let the juice drip on his fingers. Swelling will go down. That was a bad pitch right there. Russ Davis swinging. 3-0. 3-0 if you're going to swing. That ball's got to be right down Broadway, right down the middle of the plate. Get a good aggressive swing at it. He was kind of feeling for it. Looked like a fastball down and away. Just kind of felt for it and flicked it into shallow center field. Counts 3-0. You got to get a really good pitch to really drive someplace.
2 runs in, runners at the corners, and Shane Monahan is the batter. Baco is on top of that one, and Shane Monahan playing here in Detroit, which calls itself Hockey Town. They've had the back-to-back Stanley Cup. Shane Monahan can tell you about some rich hockey heritage. His grandpa was Bernie Boom Boom Jeffrey on it.
Boom Boom.
Gotta like that. And his dad played in the NHL, Heartland Monahan, in the 70s.
His legs.
How did that not hit him?
Through his legs. We're seeing some funny pitches today.
Check out the 5-hole here. Put it in the hockey vernacular. That's impossible.
I don't think I've ever seen that one before. We got that pitch. We got the one that would have went right through Bobby Higginson's back if it would have hit him.
1-1. Tap to first. Tony Clark will just back up, touch up. We are now tied at 2, playing the bottom of the 3rd here at Tiger Stadium after this on Fox.
Saving Private Ryan is a great film, says Joel Siegel of Good Morning America.
Tough his way through it today, getting some advice from his pitching coach, Rick Adair. We eavesdropped. Fox sounds of the game.
Good quick. Okay. We're going to try to get this guy out in, all right? All right. And whatever, how you want to set it up, that's fine. I don't care. Okay, but try to get this guy out in. You know, and I mean, just get it in there because he's looking out over the plate, and he's been real patient. He's been real patient to get a ball in the middle of the plate. You'll get ahead. Yeah, if you want to get a fastball down and way to get ahead, that's fine. All right, let's go.
Brian Hunter retired. That's how they went after Russ Davis, and Russ Davis eventually hit a fly ball to Brian Hunter in center field.
Then Russ Davis just made a great play on a good bunt by Brian Hunter. A guy that's really struggled with his fielding all year, 30 years, 28 of them coming at third base. And I know the feeling, Josh, because I've been out there before saying, please don't hit the ball to me. Please don't hit the ball to me. And I'm sure that's what he's going through at times. But when you make a play like that, it's great for your confidence. The first chance you get in the game, if you make a good play, you feel good about yourself the rest of the day. Yesterday, the first game, the first ground ball he got, he missed it.
Trey Beeman ahead in the count at 1-0, and it's funny, you look in that Tigers dugout, you see Buddy Bell. That's a guy who won a half a dozen Gold Gloves, and he's awfully close to where Russ Davis is right now. They're only about 50 feet away from each other, if that. And Russ Davis not winning any Gold Gloves, 30 errors this year. And remember, he plays his home games on the artificial turf,
which does make it a lot easier.
A strike called to Trey Beeman, 2-1. We're tied at 2. Tigers with 1 in the first and the second. Bob Ducey's home run shaved it down to 2-1 for Seattle. Then an Alex Rodriguez double tied it.
You know, it is a little tough sometimes, especially when you first come up to the major leagues and you're playing home games on turf. Then you go on the road and you play on grass. On turf, you let the ball come to you a little bit more. You can be lazier.
On the corner, apparently. Strike 3 called. And Ken Cloud with 5 strikeouts right now for a Coors Light game break. Let's return you to Chip Carey in the Fox Network Center. Hey, Chip.
Josh and George, everybody wanting to see Sosa and McGuire homer. Well, so far it's been just about everybody else. Jose Hernandez cranks a high fastball into the bleachers. 3-0 in favor of the Cubs in the 4th in St. Louis.
All right, Chip, thanks. And the Cubs trying to hang on in a very hotly contested wild card race. Mets squeezed out a win yesterday against Colorado. Bobby Higginson ahead in the count 2-0. Remember, he was almost hit in the back with a pitch. His first time up, then on the very next pitch, he bounced into a double play. Drives this one in right center. Down and extra bases for Bobby Higginson. That's a little revenge served up there on a 2-0 count. And the Tigers have their third double of the afternoon.
double. Let's see if I can make it a triple. The exchange went real well from the center field to the shortstop, so he had to stop at second base. But if there's any kind of a bobble there or something, he's standing on third base.
Tony Clark batting here. Mark McGwire batting in St. Louis. We will try and get you there right now.
Welcome back to St. Louis. And that welcome includes those of you watching Seattle and Detroit. Mark McGwire, first pitch, fourth inning, ball one. Bottom half of the inning, the Cubs on a two-run shot by Jose Hernandez have increased their lead to 3-0. McGwire on 1-0. Takes a strike, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Big Mac fly to right, his first time up. 2-1.
And during his first at bat, he just missed, and I mean just missed, his third opposite field home run of the year.
Into left field, there goes number 46.
Of him now. Tony Clark has struck out to end the inning here. We are tied at 2 in Detroit.
Most running backs train for speed. That's because they're looking for the path of least resistance. Me, I train mainly for power. Because I'm thinking, who needs a path?
Mambo into Red Lobster and try our 30 shrimp dinner. Pick the 2 shrimp dishes that suit you. We pile on 30 shrimp.
Fourth at Tiger Stadium, 2-2, the Mariners and the Tigers. McGwire has hit one out in St. Louis. He is 46th. Ken Griffey, by the way, today, 0 for 2. As Raul Ibanez ticks one foul, 0-1 the count to him. Ryan Powell, the man on the mound for Detroit. And guns it behind Ibanez. It's 0-2. So McGwire now 46. Then it goes Sosa, Griffey, Vaughn, Castilla, and the very hot Albert Bell. He'll be playing on Fox against these Mariners next Saturday. George, I don't know how many are going to get to 60 or beyond, but you could see maybe a half dozen guys with 50.
It's been exciting.
It's been unbelievable. This ball swatted foul, and you've also got a situation where there are 12 guys on a pace for a 40 home run season. That's never even been close to being done before.
What I've noticed, Josh, the first game I did was in Colorado. We saw Mark McGwire, and it was amazing how excited everybody got when he came up to bat. The next week we had Sosa. It was amazing how the excitement level just rises. And then this week we get Griffey.
Even in a visiting ballpark, it's so true.
Just the excitement these guys bring to the ballpark.
Now Ibanez sails one out to left center. Trey Beeman on the run at the track will make the catch.
Very similar to that yesterday at the game. We saw that ball drop in. A little lack of communication between the left fielder and the center fielder.
You really do get the sense. You talk to a Tigers fan, and probably tell you that the perfect ball game here would be Tigers win it, say about 9-3, 3 solo homers from Griffin.
They would all go home happy.
I'm just wondering, let's say McGwire gets number 62, and there's going to be a huge run to get that 62nd home run ball. That's the ultimate souvenir. What if Griffey ends up hitting 63? Does that 62nd home run ball that somebody's going to pay $5 zillion for become moot?
I think the value goes way down.
Strike on the inside corner to John Marzano.
John should know the strike zone better than anybody. He's been back there catching. Both pitchers throwing pretty good games here.
And this young umpire, Bill Miller, letting the pitchers dictate the flow here a little bit.
I think he's done an excellent job. There's been some questionable calls, but you watch some of the games in the National League when Atlanta pitches. And that staff, it's amazing the pitches that they seem to get outside the outside corner.
Well, that's where the Tigers were at war in Baltimore with John Hirschbeck's strike zone. Mike Messina on the mound. Now, that's already a tough assignment. But they figured they were getting strikes called on them on balls that were drifting outside. Marzano, ground ball, hard to third. Alvarez throws out John Marzano. Again, there was quite a display in Baltimore with Tigers getting ejected in that series. Rob Ducey will be the batter. Last inning. Rob Ducey launched one.
Classic swing right there. If he could bottle that, have that same swing on numerous occasions, he'd be playing more.
Strike on the outside corner. I recall he used to hit a few up in that upper tank here at this ballpark, even one up on the roof.
Into the lumber yard, Danny. Probably the farthest ball I ever hit here, over the roof. Landed in the lumber yard across the street.
And a guy you later played with in Kansas City briefly, Kirk Gibson, also put one in that lumber yard when he was first coming up. That was in the early 1980s.
I used to love to play against him. The intensity level would rise for everybody in the stadium. Both teams would play with a little bit more intensity.
This ball whacked inside the line. That's fair. Rob Ducey going for extra bases. He's already got a home run. Now he's got a double. Matter of fact, Ducey, 9 of his last 18 hits have been doubles. And with 2 out in a 2-2 game, that's kind of our theme here. The 2-base hit for Ducey. Deuce.
It's a good position to be in, second base with 2 outs, especially with Joey Cora up, who doesn't hit a lot of balls in the gaps. Be able to score from first on or score from second on a base hit now.
It's a lot of pitches early on for Brian Powell. Now top of the order, Joey Cora.
I didn't realize he had thrown that many pitches. 83 pitches. I got a feeling we're going to see the bullpen today at some point.
Remember a double-header yesterday for these two teams, as Cora gets one just foul down that first base line. Seattle did get a lift, though, yesterday in the doubleheader. They got a very strong effort from Jamie Moyer in that second game. Moyer continues to dominate against his Detroit Tiger team, and the Tigers actually had Jamie Moyer in their employ in the minor leagues. This was back in 1991, I believe it was. And the Tigers at that point had one soft-throwing left-hander already. They had Frank Tanana at the end of his career, and the Tigers management at that point said, well, we don't really need 2 soft-tossing lefties, so they let him go. He went to Baltimore. Now Jamie Moyer's in Seattle, and he's been unbelievable.
Well, I would classify Frank Tanana as a soft-tosser.
High as 2-1. Frank Tanana was on the mound against the Mariners in the very first game of the Mariners franchise back in 1977.
Well, when he came up, he could throw them. We'd go in to play the California Angels, and you'd face Nolan Ryan and Frank Tanana back-to-back, and it was not a lot of fun. He used to be able to throw as hard as anybody.
He's a local product. Went to Catholic Central High School here in Detroit. In the air to left field from Joey Cora. Trey Beeman moves over. He puts it away. That'll do it. We are still tied at 2 here in Detroit on Fox.
It's a hot one, sports fans. It's the Alligator.
At a historic Tiger Stadium, Josh Lewin, George Brett, pleasure to be with you here on Fox this afternoon. Fox, your home of the NLCS this October, and then, of course, the World Series. Ken Cloud against Damian Easley. 2-2 tie. We're in the bottom of the 4th. As we scout out Damian Easley, where he puts it in play.
Well, that's about what you would expect for a guy with 20 home runs and a high batting average. 59 to left field, 29 to center, and 29 to right. Spreads the ball out over the field.
Harmless ground ball to second base. Joey Cora will throw him out. And defensively, that was a play between two guys who figured they might be out of here at the trade deadline. Joey Cora says he's already packed and ready. Knows he's not coming back to Seattle next year. Edgar Martinez had said if he did get traded, and there was some talk that would happen by July 31st, Edgar Martinez said he was thinking of just hanging it up.
Surprising. Guy loves to play the game. But maybe the team he was going to go to already had a designated hitter. Maybe that's why.
He can certainly still play as Catalanato dribbles one foul. Edgar Martinez, a 2-time batting champion.
Came up as a third baseman with Seattle.
And it's not like Martinez is in his 40s or anything. Martinez is 35 now. But he's pretty much got a DH. The occasional time in the field, but nothing more.
35, 37 years old is a good time for a third baseman or first baseman to become a DH.
Ground ball. Oh, right by the DH. Edgar Martinez.
That's why he's a DH.
That's right. And again, David Segui is out for at least a couple more days. So they change it around a little bit, and a base hit given on the play to Frank Catalanato.
I already had E3 on my scorecard. How could that be a base hit?
That's why they invented whiteout. Here you go. Well,
it took me 2 weeks to learn how to keep score.
Gabe Alvarez is the batter and takes inside. Will turn an E3 into a single to right. Edgar Martinez is appreciative of that. Infield in, looking for the double play. And the count 1-1 to Gabe Alvarez.
Talking to Joe Rand, an old teammate of mine yesterday, I asked him about this Alvarez kid because Joe was the third baseman when this kid got brought up. And I said, Joe, tell me about Gabe. He said, hey, George, this guy's a good player. It's kind of weird to have guy taking your job and the guy whose job got taken being praised a little bit. They have high hopes for this guy.
And Joe Random very graciously watching Alvarez kind of take over. Going with youth when you're 20 games under 500, that's usually the way it happens. On 2-1. Looking for it, and John Marzano's got it. So a foul out from Gabe Alvarez. Paul Baca will be the batter. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Commissioner of Baseball. May not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent
of Major League Baseball.
Yeah, right. That's what I meant to say.
Isn't that what it is?
I believe that's true. I should have this memorized by now. They give me a card to read every week.
I've heard it enough times.
Paul Baco, who doubled in a run in the second inning. That second inning for the Tigers, it went strikeout, double, strikeout, double, strikeout. And Ken Cloud, 6 strikeouts for the afternoon. His season high and career high is 11. With Randy Johnson gone, they're looking to the youngsters now. Ken Cloud will be there, you figure, when the new ballpark opens up. A couple of Michigan natives could be there. Brett Hinchcliffe and the young unit, Ryan Anderson, 6'11" starting pitcher. Maybe by the year 2000. And maybe one of the guys received in the Randy Johnson deal, Freddie Garcia, one of the pitchers that they like very much. It will be a young staff for the Seattle Mariners.
You know, quite a contrast. The game's tied 2-2. Fourth inning.
Baco belts it out of play.
5 hits each. Powell has thrown 64 pitches. No, McLeod's thrown 64. Powell has thrown 85.
Pitch count was the thing that Cloud was supposed to be worried about. That's what the Mariners really need him to get under control. Rocky Rose says,
Real enthusiastically.
I was quoting verbatim. That's what he said.
Don't wake me up.
Oh, bubble on your nose, Rocky. Native Detroiter. Been in the American League for a while. It's a pretty veteran crew here with Dale Scott and Dave Phillips, too.
Everyone with the exception of Bill Miller, the home plate umpire, who's doing a great job, I think.
Runner will be in motion with a 3-2 count. There it goes. Here it comes, and Baco sends it foul one more time. Talk about the Randy Johnson trade, and the Mariners players, a lot of them still stinging from that, you get the sense.
Well, 2 or 3 years from now, we'll be able to tell if it's a good trade or not. Right now, it's tough to tell. It really is. I know they thought they could have got some major league players that might have been able to come in and help them out now, but in 2 or 3 years, these guys might be great players.
In the air to left center. Shane Monahan back near the track. And he'll grab it to end the inning. Seattle coming up with some thunder. Rodriguez, Griffey, and Martinez next on Fox.
3 things I always do before I barbecue ribs.
His game summary brought to you by B.F. Goodrich. Well, Mr. Griffey, so far nothing happening. Rob Ducey has picked up the slack with a solo home run. The Mariners not getting it done with runners in scoring position, but it's a 2-2 game, and Alex Rodriguez leads off against young Brian Powell. Ken Griffey Jr. on deck. To left field, and look out. Trey Beeman slips, and he can't recover. He went down again. Alex Rodriguez will have his second double of the afternoon. And once again, Griffey will come up with first base open. It is ruled a double all the way. Seattle has the leadoff man at second base here in the 5th inning.
Fastball outer part of the plate. Did you see how Rodriguez got extended through that thing? That ball's just a line drive out if he doesn't slip and fall down.
We'd like to welcome those of you who've been watching Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire. Now you'll watch Ken Griffey Jr. here in Detroit. Brian Powell deals strike one. It's a 2-2 tie. Alex Rodriguez, a runner at second base. First base is open.
And they've been staying away from Griff all day long.
This ball loops, falling into center. Base hit for Griffey. Rodriguez will come in to score. Seattle takes the lead here. Griffey holds home run-wise, but Seattle has the lead off of Brian Powell.
It's a good piece of hitting right there. Looked like it was a changeup down and away in the zone. He hit it off the end of the bat, but he didn't roll over and try to pull it. Right there, it's kind of a catch-22 situation, Josh. Does he give himself up to try to get the runner to third, or does he go up there and try to drive him in himself? Right there, it looked like he was just trying to serve the ball up the middle, which would have advanced the runner, and he got a bonus, an RBI base hit.
98 runs batted in for Griffey now. And Edgar Martinez takes one down and outside. So Seattle, which trailed 2-0, now leads it 3-2. Too high, it's 2-0. So again, your Powerball numbers, if you're just joining us, 46, 43, 41. McGuire 46 now, having hit one against the Cubs today. Sosa for now holding with 43, and Griffey has been stuck on 41 since July the 30th. Martinez launching one to left field, drifting towards the pole. Beeman into the corner, and this ball is gone. Edgar Martinez hits a parabola to left field. A two-run home run. It is Seattle leading 5-2.
You talk about Griffey not hitting home runs, but he's still driving in runs and getting on base. Doing it the other way. That ball was a fastball inside, I believe. And he was so quick getting his hands through the zone there. He didn't even overswing at that ball.
And this ball is absolutely crushed into the air here. Some serious hang time.
Straight up in the air.
Number 21 for Edgar Martinez, who's been on base 3 times now today, albeit very briefly right there as he circled them all. Now Russ Davis takes down and outside, and we talked about the proclivity of Ryan Powell giving up the home run ball. He's given up a pair of home runs this afternoon. The end of the bat, a cue shot to Tony Clark. He'll lead Brian Powell. He's there. And finally, the first out of the inning, there has been a double, a single, and a home run.
Yeah, that's what we said in the opening, Josh. You never know what you're going to get when you throw these inexperienced young pitchers out there. He cruised through the first 2 innings, gave up 2 in the third. Relatively easy inning in the fourth, and then didn't get an out for 3. They scored 3 runs without getting an out in the 5th.
Now with 1 out, Shane Monahan. And that sinks low. Shin high for a strike. The Tigers, when they don't have their 2 aces out there, Justin Thompson and Brian Moeller, they've just been getting killed this year by the others that they've auditioned. And Powell on that list, and line drive right to Tony Clark. 2 down in the inning. Folks, Sunday, August 16th, a Fox NFL special. Brett Favre and the NFC champion Pack taking on the Raiders in a preseason matchup. Don't miss John Madden, Pat Summerall, Terry, Howie, JB, and new addition Chris Collinsworth. They'll be bringing you all the action starting at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific here on Fox. And the Lions used to play their home games here, as you can see from the footballs that are still on the scoreboards here at
They
Tiger.
haven't done much of the stadium since they left.
Well, in just a couple of years, a new baseball stadium, a new football-only stadium about a mile up the road from here. Ibanez to left field. Beeman started in, now cruising back on it, makes the catch to end the inning. But Edgar Martinez's ball did get beyond Trey Beeman. It got beyond everybody. And it has made it 5-2 Seattle here on Fox.
For the week, brought to you by Toyota. Every day belongs to you. Make it count. Toyota every day. By the U.S. Navy. Navy, let the journey begin. By Frost Brewed Coors Light, who reminds you the 3 most important words are, hey, beer, man. And by Radio Shack. You've got questions? We've got answers.
Historic Tiger Stadium will not be much longer. They played their first game here April 20th, 1912, the day the Titanic went down. And now, not ships but bulldozers is what we're talking about. That's the new site, about a mile away up by the old Fox Theater.
And there's home plate right here. There's first base, second base, third base. There's the field. There's the dugouts over here, Josh.
And here's our press box. Next year, we're going to be back a little bit farther, I think.
Let's hope so.
I hope so.
And here at Tiger Stadium, that scoreboard out there on the wall in left field used to be in center field. As Cruz hacks one towards that scoreboard in left, a base hit. Norm Cash and Al Kaline, Charlie Maxwell complained that it hindered the batter's view of the pitch having that scoreboard out in center, so they moved it. And that's where it's been for a while now in left field. And center field's still very quirky here at Tiger Stadium. How about a flagpole that's actually in play on the field?
Of all the years I played here, I never realized or noticed that was in play.
Looks like a football goalpost, doesn't it? With the padding wrapped around it.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Hunter, first pitch swinging. And Joey Cora makes the call and the catch. And that has been the one thing that has really been eating away at the Tigers management, the upper management, and in the dugout, too. It's already cost them a hitting coach. Larry Herndon was dispatched for whatever reason. The Tigers do swing at a lot of first balls. Brian Hunter is a leadoff man, and his on-base percentage is just .286.
Not quite high enough for your leadoff hitter. Down 3 runs, you got to go up there, especially if you're the leadoff hitter, and take a strike. Go up there, work the pitcher a little bit.
Toby Harrah is the new hitting coach. You see Toby right there. He was traded even up for Buddy Bell several years ago between Texas and Cleveland. Now as Beeman bats here, Sammy Sosa getting ready in St. Louis. McGuire's already hit one. Let's check in on Sammy with Joe Buck and Tim McCarver.
Welcome back to St. Louis. For those of you watching Seattle and Detroit, Sosa takes the ball. You've joined us here in the 6th inning. After the Cardinals scored a run in the 5th to make it 3-2, John Frascatore has come out of the bullpen. Walked Morandini, walked Grace. 2 on, nobody out, and a 1-0 count on Sosa. There's a strike, and it's 1-1.
On the corner, that first pitch looked better than the second one.
2 on, nobody out for Chicago, trying to add to their lead. And a little jam shot into center. Kelly out to get it. And he and Langford collide momentarily.
Thanks. It's still Sosa with 43. Mark McGuire has hit his 46th today. We've seen Ken Griffey Jr. in this game. We'll see him again. Griffey 1 for 3 with an RBI single. The count 1-2 to Trey Beeman. Runner on, and Beeman lifts one into center. Bob Ducey fading over, makes the catch. The Tigers had the leadoff man on, but they have not been able to get him over. Matter of fact, George Cincibaco RBI double in the 2nd inning. The Tigers nothing for 5 with men on base.
There's Bobby Higgins in strike zone or hot zone right here. He loves the ball out over the plate in this area. This is where you got him to double hitting that double play in the 1st inning. Those aren't really the cold zone. I would take that line and go right in here. He doesn't like it on the corner or inside, but the ball middle in, those are the balls that he hits pretty well also.
Higginson lost one to left field. Or first pitch swinging from the Detroit Tigers, and they are down and out here in the 5th inning. Our score, Seattle 5, the Detroit Tigers 2. You're watching it on Fox.
Babe Ruth is up. He looks sluggish.
Martin, all he's doing is sweating. I'm not sweating, and I'm wearing a turtleneck. You're fired.
What's wrong, babe?
I was out all night, Reg.
Try this. Lipton, brisk iced tea.
That's brisk, baby.
Give it a ride, Dave.
Holy cow, what a shot! And if you're looking for a change-up, kiddo, try new Lipton Brisk. Sweetened, no lemon.
Select road. Validating tires.
What kind of road can you drive on with BF Goodrich tires?
Approved. Enjoy.
Any road you choose. VF Goodrich Tires. Take control.
They say fruit's good for your body. Everybody loves fruit. Natural fruit. Wild fruit. Fruit of the loom. It's underwear. Get it? Everybody loves fruit.
Neutrogena T-Gel Shampoo. Recommended #1 by dermatologists. It works. Works on all 3 major itchy, flaky scalp conditions. The leading prescription dandruff shampoo doesn't. Neutrogena T-Gel Shampoo. It works.
Mambo into Red Lobster and try our 30 shrimp dinner. Pick the 2 shrimp dishes that suit you. We pile on 30 shrimp for under $10. That's a lot of shrimp for just $9.99. The shrimp are jumping. So hurry in for your 30 shrimp dinner at Red Lobster. 'Cause life on land is dry.
Would you marry this woman for $10 million?
The softest lace you've ever felt.
Sure. An all-new Melrose Place, Monday at 8, 7 Central.
Doug Buckler will take over on the mound for the Tigers. Brian Powell is done for the day. It is 5-2 here. We've been tracking Ken Griffey Jr., of course, Sammy Sosa, and Mark McGwire. Very much the story in St. Louis. We'll get you to Mark McGwire's at bat as he's set to come up for the Cardinals in just a little bit. John Marzano will step in here to face Doug Buckler. Brian Powell went 5 innings. He allowed 8 hits. And now as McGwire steps in, here we go to St. Louis again. Here's Joe Buck.
We'd like to welcome those of you watching Detroit and Seattle. It's McGwire leading off, and it's a ball up and away. We struck gold last time as McGwire went deep for home run number 46.
I would be very surprised to see Mark Clark come inside to McGwire in this at-bat. Mark hitting an inside fastball out of the ballpark for home run number 46 his last time up.
3-0, and there's been nothing close to even the middle of the plate, let alone inside. 3 balls, no strikes. Not even close.
So McGwire, a walk and a home run today. The home run record and maybe Babe Ruth's walk record, also something that might fall. That record 170 in a single season. Buckler to Rob Ducey, the count 1-2 now to him.
Ducey having a nice day, Josh. Home run and a double.
Well, for a guy that wasn't even supposed to be playing, yeah, not bad. Bottom of the order. Count 2-2. And McGwire, by the way, 116 walks now. So he's got a shot at that 170, as obviously he does at the magic number of 61 for the homers.
Can he do them both in the same year? Wouldn't that be something for him?
Might be given the opportunity. Up and outside, 3-2 the count. Here's a payoff. Fly ball. Gabe Alvarez trying to shield his eyes from the sun, gives way, and David Cruz collects it for the second out. We'll keep you up to date on the Cubs and the Cardinals as we go throughout the day today. It's a big road trip for the Chicago Cubs. They're taking on St. Louis and McGwire. Then they've got to deal with teams like San Francisco and Houston. They've also got an exhibition game with their AAA affiliate on a very long trip here. Got to go to Des Moines in the middle of all that.
Just what all the players on the Cubs are looking forward to, I'm sure.
Well, the Mariners put up quite a fuss when they played their Double-A team in an exhibition game last year. As Cora rips it, Tony Clark surrounds it. Butler to the bag. That's the inning. Super play. It is still a 5-2 score. Seattle in the lead, and Tony Clark will lead it off after this.
Well, it seems since MCI's arrival, everyone's lives have become easier. Why, just the other day, I saw our telecom manager smile for the first time in I don't know how long. And because we've combined all our communications with MCI, we've saved the company a lot of money, making even our normally subdued CFO somewhat happier. Life is good.
You're the beer man. Playing in pain comes with the territory. But a few nagging injuries won't stop me from delivering cold Coors Light.
Hey, beer man.
95 is what the doctor called pop-top finger. But I kept cracking open that Rocky Mountain refreshment. 96 was a wicked case of beer elbow. But the fans wanted a frost-brewed beer, and they got it. Knock the beer man out of the game? Well, that would take something really serious. Coors Light? Yeah, you want it. Coors Light!
The tallest mountain in North America is 20,320 feet. Cool.
Who's gonna break that home run mark and hit 62 out of the park? McGuire's on fire, and he's got company. Griffey, Sosa, Galarraga, Rodriguez. The race for the record is on. Fasten your seatbelts. Baseball's departing daily from a major league ballpark near you. Who's gonna crush 62 before the season is through? Don't miss a minute.
5-2 here. Seattle 10 games under 500. We spoke to Lou Piniella and asked him if the Mariners are still in the playoff race.
Well, I haven't given up. I don't think any of my players have given up. If they have, they certainly haven't shown it because they play hard on the field, and I'm appreciative of that. But at the same time, you have to be realistic. We've dug ourselves a heck of a hole here, and look, my posture is go out and play hard, win as many games as you can, and whatever happens, happens.
Now, what's happening here is Seattle up 5-2 for Lou Piniella. And Lou Piniella was telling you, I know, George, about his approach here at Tiger Stadium. It has changed a little bit. He's kind of taken the tack now where might as well try and get that home run. Not a lot of hitting and running going on, not a lot of straight steals when the Mariners come to Tiger Stadium anymore.
Well, Jay Buhner's been a little ill with his legs. They've been aching a little bit. Cora is not as fast as he was. He's not stealing as regularly as he used to. But the only two guys they really have stealing bases is Rodriguez and Griffey. Let's sit back and get some guys on base and try to hit some homers.
And sure enough, the last couple of years, the Mariners 8-2 here at Tiger Stadium, and this was a house of horrors for them for many years. All the other years besides the last two, they had gone 33-80 here at Tiger Stadium. Of course, during the 1980s, they played some pretty good teams. Kansas City Royals hooked up with the Tigers in ALCS one of those years.
They were good. They got off to that 35-5 start that year in '84. That was about as good a team as I played against.
2-2 to easily. Yeah, they steamrolled you guys in the ALCS.
Well, we lost the first game, I think, 9-2. Lost the second game in Kansas City by 1 run, and then Charlie Liebrandt pitched a gem here. We lost 1-0 on a fielder's choice.
Milt Wilcox, the winning pitcher, dueling 3 hitters in that game 3.
This town was crazy after that game. Getting on the bus and getting ready to go to the airport, back to the hotel. They were trying to tip our bus over.
Cue shot foul by Damian Easley, and we heard a little bit about that '84 season this year because of what the Yankees started off doing, and of course what they are still doing.
How many games did the Tigers win that year, 1984?
I believe it was 108. And look that up for you. Pop-up from Damian Easley. Straight up into the air. Joey Cora looking for it. And he has got it.
Got a fastball right down the middle. Pitch that he loves, pitch that he feasts on, popped it up. Run to first base, threw his bat straight down, disgusted. Throws his helmet down, disgusted. How did I miss that, he's saying. Right down the middle.
By the way, 104 and 58 was the Tigers' record in 84. I knew there was an 8 in there somewhere. Catalinato to right. Great catch! Raul Ibanez, welcome back to the big leagues, kid. Pretty nice play, stretching out and robbing Catalinato.
That's Jay Buhner. That was Jay Buhner. No, the guy's bald like Jay Buhner.
We'll be back after this word from your local Fox station, home of the '98 World Series.
You're watching Fox Saturday Baseball Game of the Week.
Tonight at 6, Texas is held hostage.
Stay where you are, old man! Unless you want to die.
On the next.
So what do you think? He's the most dangerous man I've ever known.
Walker, Texas Ranger. Then at 7. A kidnapping.
Nobody's gonna spoil it.
With 2 victims.
You can actually feel what she's going through.
And a nightmare that must be relived.
You're the best hope. Nobody's gonna spoil it.
Tonight, starting at 6 on Fox 49. Fox Sports is presented by Carl's Jr. If it doesn't get all over the place, it doesn't belong in your face.
When I feel fresh, I can embrace. I can share. Reach. With Always panty liners, that freshness leaves you free to be and do what you choose. Laugh. I can shout. Only Always odor-absorbing panty liners have a unique core and fresh weave cover that work together to help keep moisture and odor away from you for that always fresh feeling every day. I can let go. All Days panty liners from Always. Feeling fresh is being free.
In a world where we go a million separate ways at once, it's harder than ever to stay connected. So Sprint put the whole world on the head of a pin to make it simple to communicate. As simple as a giggle between sisters on the net, as clear as a birthday wish through Sprint PCS, as effortless as your ideas taking flight when you can't. Communications that work together make your world easier to grasp. Sprint, where it all comes together.
Before you get that new sport utility vehicle, know what you're getting into. Get into one that can comfortably sit 9 with all the comfort features. Get into one with the most cargo room. And get into one with the most towing power in its class. Get into the Expedition and choose the exact model you want with all the features you need. After all, your Northwest Ford dealer has the largest selection of Expeditions, all priced to move. Get into one at your Northwest Ford dealer today.
Here is Alex Rodriguez leading off for Seattle in the 7th inning. It is 5-2 Mariners. Doug Bockler, the man on the mound, and Ken Griffey Jr. looms on deck. Strike one.
As you can see in the hits by direction, he's very, very similar to Damian Easley. Most of his hits, the majority of them, come to left field. Center field and right field are about even. However, out of the 36 to right base hits to right field, 16 of them are home runs compared to 4 last year.
Already a couple of doubles for Rodriguez today. Down and outside, 2 balls and a strike. That's another record that's got a shot at falling. Rodriguez and Griffey combining for the number of home runs they've combined for. Maris and Mantle combined for 115 in that magical 1961 season. These guys have combined to hit 75 right now.
Definitely in reach. I would like to be Alex Rodriguez. This year, I like his chances of joining the 40-40 club.
Oh, yeah. Draws the walk here. He's at 34 homers, 31 steals. What a complete season is, and he's at 300 hitters. stealing all those bases even with Ken Griffey Jr. hitting behind him in the order. And indeed, Griffey is coming up right here, right now. We welcome those of you who are watching the McGuire/Sammy Sosa show. Here it's Ken Griffey Jr. in Detroit. 5-2 Mariners. Alex Rodriguez is at first base, and a guy that has stolen quite often, despite Griffey hitting behind him. Doug Bachler tries to keep him close, and when you're dealing with Ken Griffey Jr., George, how possible can you avoid this guy beating him?
It's tough, too, especially with Jay Buhner behind him, Edgar Martinez behind him. It's tough.
Rodriguez is going. Baco with the throw down, not in time. So for the third time this afternoon, Griffey will be at the plate with first base open. And you wonder how that'll change things now as Bachler and Baco get together. That's the battery for the Detroit Tigers.
Well, they pitched him away, and every time the situations come up, just pounded him away, change speeds away. Kenny Griffey was a little more disciplined at the plate today, and maybe not playing in Tiger Stadium. Probably would have had a couple walks.
To left field. And Trey Beeman will track it down for the first out of the inning. If you do pitch him down in a way, which we saw Bachler do right there, and some pitchers tried to do early in his career, he can get those arms extended and beat you anyway. He hit a home run off David Cone in the playoffs a couple years ago with one hand on the bat.
Well, he's got power the opposite way, especially in this ballpark. Seattle, he's got power the opposite way. That ball was a really good pitch. That ball was a little too far down to really drive the ball. But what I liked about it, he didn't try to pull it.
Now they're going to go ahead and put Edgar Martinez on. So they pitch to Ken Griffey. He of 41 home runs and he of a left-handed swing. But now the right-handed Edgar Martinez will be put on to set up a double play possibility. Russ Davis will be the batter. And that's the thing. You pitch around Griffey, you've got to deal with Edgar Martinez. Buddy Bell wanted no part of that.
And what would they do with Jay Buhner hitting behind Martinez on a normal day? Okay, this is a tough lineup to pitch to.
And Russ Davis will get the opportunity. Here's a Toyota game summary to this point. Ken Griffey did have the go-ahead RBI knock in the 5th inning. Tigers struggling, that meat of the order that we talked about right at the beginning of the broadcast, not doing anything today. And Ken Cloud, 6 innings, 6 hits, 6 strikeouts for Seattle.
Throwing good, throwing inside. Got a good quick slider today. Been very, very impressive. Pitching inside so far to Higginson, threw one behind him.
Now Russ Davis. Tigers have already walked 4 this afternoon, and they have drawn only 1 walk of their own. That was the first batter who came up today, Brian Hunter, on 4 pitches. But since then, Ken Cloud has been inducing the Tigers to swing at just about anything. Mariners have bolted out to a 5-2 lead. This Tiger team has walked the fewest amount of times in the entire league.
When you swing at the first pitch like they like to do, you're not going to get many walks.
The Seattle team so patient. 3-0 the count to Russ Davis. Of course, the one downside for Seattle, and there actually have been more than just one for the Mariners this year, the bullpen has killed them. 5-2 is not safe necessarily.
Especially not in this ballpark. They want to score some more runs right now. They want to put the game out of reach. Anything can happen in these ballparks.
3-0. Will Davis be swinging? Not yet. The pickoff play. And Rodriguez, remember, he was hit in the right hand earlier trying to bunt a ball. And had to dive back in with those very same fingers on the bag there.
He wasn't even off the bag that far. That caught him by surprise. Good timing play right there by Easley. Almost caught him napping.
Still No runners at first and second. Russ Davis, who swung away on 3-0 back in the third inning, takes here, and it's 3-1.
You know, if I swung at 3-0 and took a pretty bad swing or chose a pitch to swing at that really wasn't a good selection, the next at bat, if I got 3-0, I would have done the same thing.
Now on 3-1. And he drives it to right field. Russ Davis sends it back to the wall. It's gone! 3-run home run. It just did get out. And looking to bust it open, perhaps the Mariners have. It is 8-2.
That's pretty safe.
They pitched around Martinez to get to Davis. But what they didn't figure on was a 3-1 count. Butler had to come in, and Davis drives it out for his 16th home run of the season.
That was just a fastball away. That ball was 3-0. If that count was 3-0 right there, Josh, and he threw a fastball away, he probably would have tried to pull it, anticipating the ball being more in the middle of the plate. But that ball was just a little bit on the outer part of the plate. Did a good job going the other way and not trying to pull it. Definitely a Tiger Stadium home run right there. Didn't make it by much.
Monahan twists one foul. Another one of those line drive home runs we've seen here today. And here's Russ Davis's reaction.
You hit some home runs and drive in some runs. That's a 17th home run. If he could keep hitting home runs, they'll overlook some of those errors he makes. But it's tough to overlook him when you're struggling offensively at the plate.
Up and outside, it's 1-2. Well, they tried him in left field a little bit. That didn't work out. They put him back at third base. The man they call Forrest Gump, native of Alabama. That's all I got to say about that. Monahan waves and misses. He's down on strikes. And Chip Carey standing by. Another game break here, brought to you by Coors Light. What's up, Chip?
All right, Josh, a tight game in St. Louis. Cubs and Cardinals, you know the great rivalry between these two National League powers. Luis Ordaz singles home Eli Marrero to make it 3-2. Big Mac has hit a solo home run. We showed you that. His 46th of the year for the Cardinals. 3-2 Cubs.
And a little tamer affair than yesterday. How about that game yesterday? 3 in the top of the first for the Cubs. They come back and give up 11 in the bottom of the first inning.
Everybody's all excited at the Cubby dugout after the first inning.
Ibanez shoots one foul. It was a big day for big innings in baseball yesterday. The Reds hung a 12 spot on the Milwaukee Brewers yesterday. And a 17-0 win.
Ouch.
Might feel like 17-zip for Buddy Bell. It's just 8-2 here in the 7th inning. His team has lost 4 straight, 8 out of 10. The Tigers were supposed to contend this year, a lot of people thought.
They did a lot of overachieving last year. Josh made a great rebound from the year before, and everybody expected him to improve a little bit more from that. It's tough to do.
Ibanez a rip and a miss.
They got a lot of breaks last year. Everything seemed to go their way. This year, things aren't going their way as much. As a way they've gone backwards a little bit.
But again, with the new ballpark coming in the year 2000, they figure to add some free agents between now and then, and they're playing this young nucleus that they're so proud of. Take their lumps now. Maybe it pays off later. In the center, Ibanez bangs a base hit. In there in place of Jay Buhner. He's got the same haircut or lack of haircut that Jay Buhner has.
He made that diving catch in the last inning, and his hat came off, and I thought it was Jay Buhner out there, and no one told us. I looked at my scorecard, which I'm learning how to do a little bit better each week. I've even color coordinated now with yellow and orange magic markers. But I thought it was really him. But how can it be when Jay's sitting in the dugout? How about all the people in Seattle that get their haircuts? It's been like over 4,000 people in the last 3 or 4 years have gotten their Jay Buhner haircut.
Jay Buhner buzz.
Women, too.
Yeah, kids. The hair drops down to the chin for Jay Buhner. Marzano can't get this one. It's 0-2. Yeah, they love him up there, and you think about it, that was always part of the fun of going to a Mariners game. It still is. Randy Johnson was one of the key characters, but they had very identifiable characters with Buhner and Rodriguez and Cora. Griffey, obviously. Randy Johnson was the guy that I think everybody just liked to look at. Little dew on top there today on a humid afternoon. Marzano punches this one up into the upper deck. And we've talked a little bit about the Randy Johnson trade, George, but you mentioned it's not quite yet that you can get a true sense of how that trade is going to work out. The Yanks and the Indians, I guess, never did get into that massive bidding war that general manager Woody Woodward had hoped for.
And expected. I think the Yankees off to their big start this year. Figured they didn't need him.
Abanya is breaking. Baco throwing across his body, and it skips into center field. Should be just a straight wild pitch for the scoring. As the ball was in the dirt, blocked by Baco. It is a wild pitch.
Wild pitch. The ball didn't even get that far away. I'll tell you, Banya's got a good jump on that ball. They anticipate that a lot more than they used to now in spring trainings. I know a lot of clubs do. You anticipate the ball being thrown in the dirt, and as soon as that ball goes in the dirt, you're supposed to break to second base. That was one of the few times I've seen it work successfully. A lot of players just give up on balls, and they don't take that good secondary lead.
Doug Bockler, who is the clubhouse barber for the Detroit Tigers. Wonder what he'd do with Mr. Buhner. Not much to sculpt on that head. There's a strike at the knees. That's it for John Marzano. But another big inning on another big hit for the Seattle Mariners. Russ Davis, a 3-run jack. And it's 8-2 at the stretch on Fox.
It has arrived. The day when you stop listening to the tales of other lives lived and begin the odyssey that will be your story. When you find the destiny to which you were born, all you need to bring with you is your honor, your courage, and your commitment. It's your journey. Make it a good one. Call 1-800-USA-NAVY. Let the journey begin.
Zima.
Ooh. Zima. 55. What'll it be?
We'll take some rice and get some farf too. Yeah.
Now you can choose which teams you see every Sunday with DirecTV and NFL Sunday Ticket. There's up to 13 regular season games a week.
Price check on farm.
Hey, Brett. Hey, John.
So stock up on all your favorites. NFL Sunday Ticket. It's not on cable. See it on DirecTV. So what are you looking at?
Attention shoppers. Now get $200 worth of programming when you get DirecTV.
2 thumbs way up for Saving Private Ryan, says Siskel and Ebert. And Newsweek says Spielberg is working at the top of his form. Tom Hanks, Saving Private Ryan, a film by Steven Spielberg, rated R, now playing everywhere.
3 things I always do before our big family picnic. Bring my spicy bean dip, make sure there's enough fried chicken for everyone, and I always take a Pepsid AC.
Whatever's cooking, Pepsid AC can stop heartburn before it starts. You can be heartburn-free with Pepsid AC.
Well, Seattle hitting some line drive home runs, not roof shots necessarily today, but there have been some that have cleared the roof here. George Brett back in '88 joined the club.
High and deep to right field. Goodbye. Look at that wind blowing in, Josh.
Blowing in. Come on. That's a gale force out to right field.
Look at that. That wind was blowing straight in. They were showing the left field flags.
Oh,
that
sure.
wasn't the right field flag.
Uh-huh.
That's the farthest ball I ever hit in my life.
Into the lumber yard out there in right field in 1988. Pretty impressive. And Gabe Alvarez fouls one back. Where's their glove?
It's a right-handed hitter. I don't need it with this guy.
Yeah, right.
Only Damian Easley, you said.
You get all wrapped up watching your 1988 vintage footage, and you almost get clobbered.
Jim Price, the radio announcer, said he's been hitting here a couple times. How about yourself? You and Gibby been close?
Gibby's been very good at protecting me in this booth. Taking one for the team, as it were.
I want to thank my old friend Joe Randa, my old teammate, for giving me a glove to use up here.
Randa better not get in the game today. You might need that. Let's just toss it right down. It's only about a 40-foot drop, if that.
No wonder he could field so good. This is a great glove.
You like that?
This is a great glove. Little Wilson 1787. 8-2000.
Alvarez rips and misses. He's down on strikes. And by the way, that little thing that you saw right in front of George Brett, yes, it was a Beanie Baby. It is Beanie Baby Day here
I
at
have
Tiger
two of
Stadium.
them. I have one in my briefcase. I have this guy right here. I have this guy right here. This is Jackson's. This is Dylan's. And the one in my bag is Robin's. You take care of all three of my little boys when I get home tonight.
We got about 118 of those things at our house.
Josh, I hope you get a chance to bring one home for your little boy.
Yeah, I know. You're up 3-0 in the Beanie Baby front right now.
How old is your little boy now?
4 days. And a four-year-old girl. So we've got them all, except for I don't even know what their names are. Wally the Weasel, something like that. This is Stripes the Tiger here today, and a big crowd, young crowd, turning out. As an added bonus to the Beanie Babage, they have actually seen some long home runs. Baco belting one, center field, base hit. So with one out, one on, and right now for a Coors Light game break, back to Chip Carey in the box at work center.
All right, Josh and George, the Cubs have surrendered the lead. It was 3-3 then. Brian Jordan rips a double into left field. That scores the go-ahead run for the Cardinals, who now lead it 4-3. Mark McGwire was then intentionally walked. He has, however, homered already today. Cardinals 4, Cubs 3, back to George, and the new daddy, Josh Lewin.
All right, Chip, thanks. And boy, what a kick it must have been for Chip. He had his little girl, Summerlin, up there singing with him in the Wrigley Field press box about a week ago. In memory of his grandpa, Harry. Take me out to the ball game, and the cute little girl up there, Summerlin's got to be, what, about 9 months old now, I think.
I hope he was better than Rick Sutcliffe was that day.
Everybody was better than Rick Sutcliffe any day. Keep your day job was the basic tenet of advice that we had. Maybe Mike Ditka was the only one that paled in comparison.
No, there was one of the Bulls players that I saw. One of the Bulls players didn't do a very good job. In fact, he didn't know the words.
Cruz cranks one to left field. And Baco rumbles around second. He'll dig for third, maybe more. Cruz gets to second. Perry Hill waves home Baco, the catcher, coming to the plate to make it 8-3.
Quick piece of base running right there. Baco never slowed down at all. It's a long ways for a catcher to run. A slider or fastball just kind of got hung up in the middle of the plate. Baco saying to himself right now, please hold me, please hold me. Oh no, I got to run 90 feet farther.
We talked about Ken Cloud giving the Mariners innings. Last time was able to give them 8. Here he is in the 7th and perhaps beginning to tire.
Still throwing strikes, still throwing hard, and still throwing inside, Josh.
Getting up towards 100 pitches. It's strike one to Brian Hunter.
That pitch to Baco, the catcher's set up on the inside part of the plate, and the ball caught a little too much at the middle of the plate.
Fires it right in there. 0-2 to Brian Hunter. And
he's just been going after him all day long. With the exception of the first guy he faced all day. Walked him on 4 pitches. And they're all 4 fastballs, just trying to throw it hard, and probably wasn't set into a groove yet.
Hunter taps it over to the second baseman, Cora, and Brian Hunter is out. Over to third is Davy Cruz.
With an 8-2 lead, Normally, coming into the inning, all he wants to do is throw strikes. He doesn't want to walk anybody, give anybody a free pass to get on first base. Throw strikes, make him hit the ball. I got 7 guys behind me that are good fielders. They can catch it. So just go up there with his velocity and his breaking ball the way he's throwing them today. All he's got to do is throw strikes, and he's going to finish this game.
And as Cloud gets up to around 100 pitches, Greg McCarthy to work in the Seattle pen just in case. The count to Trey Beeman. 7 strikeouts for the afternoon for Ken Cloud. And again, right at this time, the second Saturday of August last year, that was his big league debut. It went exceedingly well for him. Too high, 3 balls and no strikes. Ken Cloud grew up in Baltimore. Or number 8 in Little League, dreamed of being the next Cal Ripken. But Sam Williams can tell you he's developed a pretty live arm and made him a pitcher in high school. Ball 4 to Beeman. Now they'll get some more action in the Seattle bullpen. And we'll flash you back to Ken Cloud on Fox, just dealing against the Chicago White Sox. He had a no-hitter through 6. And then Dave Martinez breaks it up in the 7th inning. Almost a year ago to the date. He left the game with the lead. And right here, he will do the same. 8-3 the score in Tiger Stadium. McCarthy coming on. We'll be back on Fox right after this quick timeout.
Hey, you heard about that guy, Sean?
He's so cool. No one's ever scored that many points.
He's going to any college he wants.
The man is unbelievable.
There he is. He is so smart.
From the software for the SATs to the educational and internet enhancements, there's nothing like the new Compact Creative Learning Series. Home computers that can help kids do better in school so they'll do better in life. Only at Radio Shack.
It's really not that complicated. Let's try it again, okay?
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
Fortune 500 companies know that when it comes to renting a car, there's really only one place to go. National Car Rental. Because at most major airports in America, National gets you in your car and on the road fast. So what are you waiting for? Let's go. National Car Rental.
The Michelin X1. Thanks to Michelin technology, it gives you long mileage and better wet braking than any rain tire. And that should make everyone on a wet road happy.
You can be just like Tiger Woods. He plays Titleist golf balls. And thanks to Wheaties, you can too. Just buy any 2 boxes of Wheaties and receive a free sleeve of Titleist balls. No postage, no handling, no kidding.
Who's gonna break that home run mark and hit 62 out of the park? McGuire's on fire, and he's got company. Griffey, Sosa, Galarraga, Rodriguez. The race for the record is on. Fasten your seatbelts. Baseball's departing daily from a major league ballpark near you. Who's gonna crush 62 before the season is through? Don't miss a minute.
The future of law enforcement.
Who you guys supposed to be, man?
Has arrived.
Blade Squad.
A world premiere movie. Blade Squad, Wednesday at 8, 7 Central on Fox.
Ken Cloud out, Greg McCarthy in. Lou Piniella wants the lefty to face left-handed hitting. Bobby Higginson, runners at the corners, 2 out, 7th inning. And Seattle leading at 8-3. One mighty cut from Bobby Higginson. This will be an 8-6 game.
And we're right back in the ballgame. That's why Lou Piniella's not fooling around.
Runner going, Trey Beeman will scoot into second base as Higginson takes the strike. a base hit to the outfield, will at least make it 8-5.
I think everybody knows the Mariner bullpen's really, really struggled early in the season. It's pitched a little bit better, but I think every time they get in situations like this, they kind of remember the first 2 months of the season.
On the corner, 1-2.
Never feel comfortable with a lead.
At .315 batting average, 10th best in the American League. Down and in, 2-2. John Marzano confidently calling for that pitch. You've got two graduates of Temple University up there with John Marzano and Bobby Higginson together. Marzano squatting down, catching, and Higginson up there trying to get the Tigers back in it. Got him swinging. Higginson not pleased. It is still 8-3 Seattle on Fox, the home of the 1998 World Series.
Large cheese. Somebody order a pizza.
Oh, I guess it's a pretty typical dorm room. Stuff's constantly going on.
Hey, dude, can I borrow some underwear?
We party.
What's up?
We study.
Can I borrow some socks?
No, we eat.
Somebody order a pizza.
So it's not like I have a ton of time or money to shop for a car. But I heard some pretty good things about Saturn, and I figured I'd check out their website. It was definitely different. I mean, I could actually pick out a car, play around with options, figure out monthly payments, avoid a lot of hassles.
How about some deodorant?
And Brian, my sales consultant, treated me great.
Looking at the coupe?
Which was also pretty different.
That was not all. Do it again.
Considering the first time we actually met was when he stopped by with my coupe.
Hi, I'm here with the Saturn. Somebody order a Saturn.
Jumping out front is Sam with his project on Irish castles. Coming up fast is Marley with hers on iguanas. But from the outside, it's Eduardo with a multimedia Mayan mathematics report.
Now more kids can go to the head of the class, because now Radio Shack has the new compact creative learning series with software and internet enhancements specifically for learning. Only at Radio Shack. Compact home computers that can help kids do better in school so they'll do better in life.
How you doing, Sarge? Okay, folks, what'll it be? What would you like, sweetheart?
A Pepsi, please.
Sorry, we only have Coke. Now you've done it.
You're sorry? Not half as sorry as you're gonna be. I ordered a Pepsi, pal.
She's got a mind of her own.
What's with this guy?
Look, I just thought...
You thought? What you really thought was that I don't know the difference between Pepsi and a Coke, right?
Here's your Pepsi.
Thank you.
Kids say the darndest things.
What are you looking at?
I like this place.
We would watch some of what your guys' show is about.
Oh, you admit to that?
And you're throwing stuff back and forth at each other. People are screaming. Bradshaw's got his arms flailing around. I said, that looks like fun.
Tonight, the fastest criminal alive and the slowest on Cops. Then this man ripped off innocent victims for $60 million. Now it's time to make him pay. Watch America's Most Wanted. America Fights Back. It all starts tonight at 8/7 Central. Only here on Fox. Sean Runyon, the new pitcher for the Tigers, and he deals to Rob Ducey, who's been having a big day. Powell gave him 5 innings. Bachler 2 for the Tigers. Now it's the lefty Runyon, who has been in more games than any other pitcher in the American League. Not bad for a guy who was at Double-A all of last year.
Very durable, very young. Throw strikes. A little crafty on left-handers, drops down, good movement. Handcuffs his catcher on occasion.
And he was encouraged to drop down a couple of years ago. It's single-A ball. That's really when his career turned around.
Being left-handed is going to prolong your career, but if you can drop down.
And he hits Ducey here on a bouncer to Tony Clark.
You you can drop down on occasion and just be something different than a lot of left-handers. You're going to be able to stick around and be a short man, a guy that will come in like a Tony Fossis has done for the last 6 or 7 years, and just come in and get the one left-hander out and then go sit in the locker room and wait for the game to be over. A lot of guys making a good living doing that stuff, being left-handed.
Now top of the order, Joey Cora. And he takes a fastball high. Sean Runyon was a Rule 5 draft pick from the San Diego organization. And you hear that rule talked about sometimes, the Rule 5 draft. I'll explain it for you in just a moment. The pitch coming. And Cora stocks it into left field. That's down for a base hit. If you've been in the minor leagues with your team for 4 years and you're not protected on their 40-man off-season roster, you are fair game. You can be drafted away by any other team for $50,000. That's the price that you pay. But the team that drafts you has got to keep you on the major league roster in season, in the major leagues all year.
All year. And if you don't, you can say you have to sell them back for $25,000 if the team wants them back. There's been some good players come out of that Rule 5 draft.
One of them already at shortstop today for the Detroit Tigers. That's Davy Cruz. They got him away from the San Francisco Giants. And a couple of guys who have paid off amazingly for General Manager Randy Smith. These guys were simply there for the taking from the Giants and from the Padres. And George, you mentioned that sometimes a guy will get drafted and not stick. Then he's got to get offered back. That happened to Frank Catalanato. He was on the Tigers minor league roster. The Oakland A's took him, but he didn't stick, and the Tigers gladly paid the $25,000 to get him back.
I was on a team when we got Billy Brewer from Montreal, and he didn't pitch. He had a great spring training, opened a lot of eyes. The last 2 weeks of spring training, he started getting hit a little bit. Hal McRae, our manager, lost confidence in him. He didn't pitch for the first 36 days he was in the big leagues with our ball club.
Rodriguez to right field. Bobby Higginson there. He's got it. So Griffey's going to come up with 2 out and 1 on in an 8-3 ball game. Griffey today 1 for 4. He's got the RBI single.
Here's his hot zone right here. They're going to try to stay up in this area here and that one down here. Anything in here, they feel he's got a good chance to hit. They've thrown him down here a few times. He's flown out to left field. But the one thing that they've been throwing him is out here an awful lot.
In the air, left field, foul territory. Trey Beeman won't get there.
That ball again was down here. You remember his first at-bat? It was 3-0. They threw one right about here, and he turned on it, hit a hard line drive foul down the right field line, and every other pitch has been out here.
Griffey has not homered since July the 30th. Chop ball, Davy Cruz playing right in back of the bag, and he will step and throw out Ken Griffey, who is now 1 for 5 this afternoon. 8-3 Seattle, middle of the 8th on Fox.
Mambo into Red Lobster and try our 30 shrimp dinner. Pick the 2 shrimp dishes that suit you. We pile on 30 shrimp for under $10. That's a lot of shrimp for just $9.99. The shrimp are jumping. So hurry in for your 30 shrimp dinner at Red Lobster. Because life on land is dry.
I don't fear anyone in the NFL. But maybe there's somebody else out there pushing himself to be stronger and more powerful than I am. Somebody who thinks he can stop me all by himself. You're not the one, are you?
Here's the thing about love. You never know when it's looking your way. Here's the thing about 1-800-CALL-ATT for collect calls. One low rate, anytime, anywhere, period. So you use 1-800-CALL-ATT and say, hey, put dinner in the freezer, Ma, 'cause I just saw me an angel. Here's another thing about love. It hurts. Love comes and goes. But 1-800-CALL-ATT is the guaranteed cheap way to make collect calls.
Fox Saturday Baseball Game of the Week, brought to you by Red Lobster. Come in and see for yourself why life on land is dry at Red Lobster. By Adidas. By AT&T. It's all within your reach. And by Napa Auto Parts. We keep America running.
Working on his glove, Ken Griffey Jr. might have to do some reconstruction to his batting helmet. Let's take a look at what happened after that last at-bat.
Well, even if you're Ken Griffey, one of the best players to play the game today, you get a little frustrated sometimes, and right there he's taking it out on his helmet. Something that a lot of players do, but you don't see Ken Griffey doing it very often. You know why, Josh? Because he's a pretty good player. He doesn't make many outs. Lou Piniella used to be the king at that stuff.
Oh. Leading the league in snaps year in and year out. Even as a manager, it seemed. Tony Clark rolls one near first base. Edgar Martinez.
Like a cat over there.
Oh, well played. Yep. In there in place of David Segui. And as we again follow Ken Griffey Jr. in this series, he's holding steady with the 41 home runs. We remind you, McGuire's already gone deep today. 46 of them now. We'll try to get you back out there for another McGuire at bat before the day is done to St. Louis. The senior coordinating producer of Major League Baseball on Fox, by the way, is John Filippelli. Today's game produced by Jeff Gowan, directed by John Moore. The pregame coordinating producer, Scott Ackerson. The pregame produced by Gary Lang, directed by Bob Levy. The senior producer of Fox Sports is Bill Brown. The executive producers, David Hill and Ed Gordon. Special thanks to John Coleman and Jordy Wimmer on site here today. Damian Easley against Greg McCarthy. And Damian Easley, well, you talk about trades of the century. The Tigers think they had theirs in this guy. Damian Easley for a guy named Greg Gord. Even up at the trade deadline a couple of years ago.
Well, I haven't heard of the guy he got traded for, so it's been a pretty good trade.
Lift foul.
I need my glove with this guy.
I'm telling you, with Easley up there, you gotta be careful.
I just do it with the left-handers.
Damian Easley now, the last couple of years, more home runs than any other second baseman in the game. More than Biggio, more than Kent, more than Robbie Alomar.
I remember him when he came up with the California Angels. The shortstop back then.
Yep, and always injury prone, it seemed. He's healthy now. He's got that positive visualization. He actually is admitted now. He's not ashamed of it or anything. He works with a hypnotist.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's the best thing any player can do is to go out there. I was talking to Jesse Barfield, the hitting coach for the Seattle Mariners. We talked about that all morning.
Down on strikes. Good pitch from McCarthy.
Well, he's a good fastball hitter, and what he got from McCarthy was not a fastball. It was a slider breaking down and in. Looks like a fastball. The bottom just falls out of it. And he was fooled on that one just a tad. But I was talking to Jesse Barfield before the game, and we were talking about watching films of hitters, not only as a training mechanism to evaluate your swing and to figure out what changes to make, but also to watch them before a game to give you that positive feeling going into the game. You watch success films of yourself. It really, really helps get you in the right mode.
Easley has been huge. We've got a pitching change here. McCarthy did a nice job. It's 8-3 Seattle.
Babe Ruth is up. He looks sluggish.
Martin, all he's doing is sweating. I'm not sweating, and I'm wearing a turtleneck. You're fired.
What's wrong, babe? I was out all night, Reg. Try this. Lipton.
Brisk iced tea.
That's brisk, baby.
Give it a ride, Dave.
Holy cow, what a shot! For that Grand Slam taste, kiddo, try new Diet Lipton Brisk.
Need a faster truck?
Hey, this is yesterday's paper.
Now you have a chance to win a real Ron Horner Dave NASCAR racing truck, a one-year lease on a 99 Chevy pickup, or a tool set during Napa Auto Parts Trucking and Tools Sweepstakes and Sale. Come by today.
Tomorrow's paper.
Bosch Super Spark Plugs, only 89 cents each.
It's late in the fourth quarter. And the announcer can't see it. And the fans can't see it. But I can. I can see it in their eyes. They're getting tired.
So I just graduated school and my life is up in the air. And I figure if my life's up in the air, I might as well be up in the air. I got no restrictions. Like collect calls with 1-800-CALL-ATT. One low rate, anytime, anywhere, period. And that's good when your life's up in the air. So I called that collect with 1-800-CALL-ATT and I go, Pops, like you said, I always find a way to land on my feet. Hey, life's full of uncertainty, but 1-800-CALL-ATT is the guaranteed cheap way to make collect calls.
Baroa set to bat here, and recently on In the Zones, inside pitch, Tigers outfielder Brian Hunter gave his insight on how to be a leadoff hitter in the big leagues. So give us your all. Tune into Fox on Saturdays for In the Zone, as Holdridge, also in the zone, strike one to Geronimo Baroa. And David Holdridge getting into the big leagues here after a long wait.
11 years in the minors.
Started out in Quad City in 1988 while George Brett was going rooftop here at Tiger Stadium. From Quad City to Clearwater to Redding, back to Clearwater, Palm Springs, Midland, Vancouver, Lake Elsinore, Midland, Vancouver, Lake Elsinore, Memphis, and Tacoma. And now finally, Seattle. By way of Detroit, here he is for Seattle.
Day he's never going to forget.
And he'll not forget his first big league assignment. Pretty good home run hitter, Geronimo Baroa, off the bench.
11 years. Whew, it's a long time to be down in those buses, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. And he gets Baroa swinging to get the Mariners out of the inning. But he walks right by the baseball. It is still 8-3.
This is original.
One can of paint, $26.
Al, check approval, register 5.
One can of paint, $26.
Al, check approval on 5.
One lousy can of paint, $26.
Al.
Knowing you'll never have to wait for Al, priceless. Debit MasterCard withdraws right from your checking account without the hassle of checks. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's Debit MasterCard.
Al.
Man, this gray hair makes me look old.
Then do what I did. Get rid of it.
You were gray? I never knew that.
No one can tell you use the remarkable hair coloring called Just for Men. Simply shampoo in, then rinse. In only 5 minutes, this unique Just for Men formula blends away the gray, actually matches your gray to your real color.
Even I can't tell what used to be gray. Thanks.
Just for Men. Looks so natural, even friends can't tell.
When you're renting a car, you don't always want to drop it off where you pick it up. And with National Car Rental's one-way rate program, You don't have to. You could pick up your car in Jacksonville and drop it off in Nashville. Or pick it up in Los Angeles. Drop it off in Las Vegas. In fact, with national special one-way rates, you can pick up your car almost anywhere and drop it off almost anywhere else with no separate drop-off fee. So what are you waiting for?
See the hit series everyone's talking about. The world's most twisted rubber man, the 1,300-foot ski ball, and more on an all-new Guinness World Records, Tuesday at 9, 8 Central.
It was Raul Ibanez that had our Red Lobster catch of the day today, robbing Frank Catalanato. This back in the 6th inning, Red Lobster's catch of the day, and Ibanez just up from AAA a little while ago. Had that Buhner haircut working. The Mr. Clean thing.
There's a lot of that going around nowadays. When are you going to start sporting that? No. Kind of do.
I'm not meaning to, but I'm heading that way. A little recession action as Martinez sprays one to right field. Dean Crow is a new pitcher for the Detroit Tigers. He's the 4th man used by Buddy Bell this afternoon. And this is a guy who came up through the Seattle farm system, was part of the Scott Sanders deal last year. And the Mariners were very, very high on this guy. He's got a very nice live fastball, good forkball.
Forkball's his pitch. He likes to throw that, especially with guys on base. He throws that an awful lot, tries to induce a double play ground ball with it.
By the way, we're told there's some big news in St. Louis. Some goings-on between the Cardinals and the Cubs. We'll get you there coming up in just a moment. 8-3 our score here. Griffey has not homered today. Mark McGwire has homered. I'm going to leave you wondering about Mr. Sosa as this ball is pegged foul down the third base line. The home runs for Seattle today have come from this guy, Russ Davis, and Edgar Martinez, and Rob Ducey. They've hit 3 home runs at Tiger Stadium. Davis also a single in this game. He was flied out and bounced out as well. Foul tipped. Baco couldn't hang on. It's 2-2.
There it is. There's that forkball grip. I noticed a couple pitches ago he had that same grip and threw a fastball.
This one drilled to left field by Russ Davis, trying to make it 2 for the day, and he does.
That's a home run anyway.
He is homered in back-to-back at-bats. 7th inning and now the 9th inning. It is 9-3 Seattle. And a 4 RBI afternoon for Russ Davis.
The home run he hit in the 7th inning was a Tiger Stadium home run. This was a home run in any ballpark in the country. Got a fastball middle in, took a great swing, drove through it, upper deck, left center field. Caps off a great day for him.
Now Monahan sending one down towards left field line. Trey Beeman can't get there. And the Tigers, remember, led this game 2-0 heading into the top of the 3rd. But Seattle, in that quick strike offense that they've been known for the last 3 years. Buhner sits, but Russ Davis hits a pair. Ducey hits one. Edgar Martinez hits one.
As Griffey DHs.
And there's more goings-on in St. Louis, too. We'll be getting you to that information momentarily. First, Shane Monahan's got to hobble around for a little while.
He's spending a lot of time, Monahan is, with Jesse Barfield, their hitting coach. And right now, he swung the bat so good yesterday, getting 3 hits in the nightcap. Got a couple, I think, in the first game. Today, it looks like he's maybe overloaded. He's been swinging a lot of balls in the dirt, thinking too much.
And Jesse Barfield does preach situational hitting, something the Mariners really lacked last year, especially in the playoffs against Baltimore. Today,
Jesse knew how to hit. He was a good hitter. A lot of people look at Jesse and saw he hit 40 home runs for Toronto. Jesse was a good hitter.
inside from Crow to Monahan, 2-2. He replaced Lee Elia as the hitting coach for the Seattle Mariners.
And not a bad right fielder either.
Great arm, huh?
Tremendous.
Down in the dirt, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Mariners would really have to push on here to get it around for Griffey again. He made the last out of the 8th inning. And the Griffey home run drought, if you can call it that, is now 10 days. And it's like
the longest of the season?
But it's like a worldwide panic that the guy goes 10 days between home runs.
Well, McGuire got one today.
On 3-2, this one is shut out into center field. Brian Hunter waiting. As we wait to send it back to Chip Carey, we'll do it right now. A Coors Light game breaks some doings in St. Louis. Back to Chip at the Fox Network Center.
Thanks, Josh. You're right, George. Brett McGuire has homered. So has Sammy Sosa. Rich Croushore on the mound, a leadoff walk. Sosa crushes his 44th straightaway into center field. It's now 5-5 in the top of the 9th in St. Louis. What a duel, Sosa and McGuire.
Wow, one apiece today, and that's really the big difference for Sammy Sosa this year. He's hitting him when they matter. I mean, you kidding me? 9th inning, down a couple runs, tie it up at 5. That was not Sammy Sosa last year at all.
And he might get another at-bat now. He could get another chance to hit one.
Well, and McGuire, too.
Right.
Made the fans, in a strange way, very happy in St. Louis. Here's Ibanez. He'll lift it foul out of play third base side.
Well, I went to a couple games in St. Louis this year, and as soon as Mark McGuire's at-bat was over in the bottom of the 8th inning, and it didn't look like he was going to bat anymore, about 15,000, 20,000 people got up and left the stadium. So I'm sure there are a lot of people still sticking around.
To left field and towards the line. That's fair. And Ibanez around first. That's his second hit of the afternoon.
Boy, all this stuff about Lou Piniella not being able to rest his team. They're throwing in Ibanez with 2 hits.
Yeah, this guy Marzano has called a good game. You're right. Ducey's had a big day.
Home run double.
A strike to the veteran John Marzano. One of those guys who talk about good influences in the clubhouse. He is a universally well-liked man, John Marzano. But there's a danger that comes with that label, too. Billy Ripken was here in Detroit this year, and it's almost as if you end up feeling, I guess, if you're a veteran and everybody likes you, that maybe is the only reason that you're invited to hang around. And John Marzano said in spring training, I hope I'm not here just to be a clown and amuse people. I want to play. Ground ball to third, and they go the short way to end the inning, but Russ Davis homers again, the second of the afternoon, 17th of the year, and it's all Mariners. As Davis goes deep, it is 9-3 Seattle on 5.
You say you don't have time to fix that crack in your driveway? Now that you know about Quikrete Crack Seal, looks like you'll need a better excuse.
Kind of my own boss, you know. I have a pretty set pattern that I like to travel every time, you know. Cut there across the lake. Zigzag between the flags and stuff. It's brutal out there. Well, they don't pay us very well, but, you know, I made enough to get my Saturn. Oh, you know, gets hit quite a bit. And I got those dent-resistant panels, so mine's looking brand new still.
Keith Van Horn is the teammate, helping fellow players win on the court and in life. Starring Keith Van Horn. Also starring Nike Air Siege as Shoe. This week's episode, What's Up with Jimmy?
Keith, does this uniform make my hips look big?
Yeah, it does.
Hot.
Foot Locker. Play big.
How's he look today?
He's coming along.
You know, he's been away a long time. I don't want to see him get hurt. How long can he go?
No way to know till he gets out there.
What's he needed for?
I think he's got something to prove to himself.
It's low impact.
He's very boyish.
Jerry Seinfeld is back, doing stand-up live on Broadway, only on HBO.
This thing on. You say you don't have time to fix that crack in your driveway? Now that you know about Quick Creek Crack Seal, looks like you'll need a better excuse.
A 9-3 lead for Seattle. Bottom of the ninth, last shot for the Tigers against David Holdridge, who is making his major league debut. A guy who's been going at it in the minor leagues since 1988. He came on to strike out Geronimo Baroa, the very first batter he got to face last inning.
And walked right by the ball.
I couldn't believe that.
I still got my first base hit in the big league. Still got the ball at the house, yeah. You would think a pitcher would do the same thing.
A chopper, and he can't get this ball either. Rodriguez bails him out, then throws it away. And Alvarez taking off for second base. He'll coast in there. So the Tigers have the leadoff man in scoring position here in the ninth inning. That'll be a single and an error on the throw.
Ball had some good sink to it. He just chopped it into the ground. Tough play for Rodriguez. Just threw it a little inside the back. A little frustrated by that, but I'm sure he'll be all right in the long run.
Well, a couple doubles, stolen base for Rodriguez today. His team is up 9-3. The errors hurt a little less, I would think, at that point.
Exactly.
Big crowd, 37,495 here at Tiger Stadium today. Almost turned into a gorgeous afternoon. Too high to Paul Bacco. It's 2-0.
Okay, the one thing you want to see if you're a Mariner fan or if you're a Mariner coach is you want to see Russ Davis end this game with no errors. He's had a great day offensively. You don't want any negative things to come into play in the ninth inning.
They made a super play on Brian Hunter's bunt attempt back in the third inning as well. A lot of positives, you're right, for Russ Davis today.
Something to build on from now on. You get in a rut, you start making errors. That's all you think about. It makes the game awfully, awfully difficult.
Up and in, and the Tigers have 2 on, nobody out. And you know that Lou Piniella doesn't want to get that bullpen up again, but he might not have a choice.
Here they come.
Davy Cruz will be the batter for the Tigers. Piniella getting Mike Timlin ready in the bullpen, and Davy Cruz 2 for 3 this afternoon. You talk about slick fielding. That's a nice segue into Davy Cruz. He's been doing it all this year, last year as well. And a guy that had been playing strictly at single-A ball as you check out Mike Timlin in the bullpen for Seattle. Davy Cruz came all the way up to the major leagues as one of those Rule 5 draft picks we talked about. And George, before Davy Cruz, the last rookie shortstop to play in more than 100 games, make fewer than a dozen errors, Woody Woodward. Now the Seattle general manager. He did it with the Milwaukee Braves more than 30 years ago. Davy Cruz actually ended up with 13 errors last year because he kicked a couple balls on the final day of the season.
Trying to break the record, see?
That's right.
The pressure got to him.
And the count goes to 2-0. Cruz has been dazzling with the defense. He's had the occasional big hit, too.
He's got 2 of them today, a single and a double. He's done fine as a hitter. Guy his second year of major league experience.
Cruz, who hopped right from single A to the major leagues, facing David Holdridge. It took him 11 years to get out of the minors, and now it doesn't look like Lou Piniella is going to let him get out of this 9th inning.
Pretty good start for Holdridge. Not a very good ending. Struck out the first guy I saw, gave up an infield hit and a walk. I don't think Lou's going to take any chances.
Lou wants to make the move, and the bullpen, which has been the trouble spot for 2 seasons for Seattle now, it's flaring up again today, perhaps, in Detroit.
You know what I heard?
What?
I heard we do have a new guy, and
The guy with the neck?
he is kind of privately, and he's this kind of guy. He's privately trying to move you out of your seat and kick you out to the end because he's like a moth to a light.
Oh, really?
You know, he just flies right to that light. He needs to be in that spotlight.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, he won't be there long.
Join the new guy, Chris Collinsworth, on America's most watched pregame show. Fox NFL Sunday returns September 6th.
I never give in to a play. You know, sometimes the coach says it's a bad play, just throw it away or take the sack. I don't like to hear that. I think every single time I drop back, I can throw a touchdown. Some guys are just willing to give in, and I'm not.
It's a Fox NFL special when the Raiders battle the Packers.
Mike Timlin gets ushered into this ballgame, a 9-3 lead for Seattle. Lou Piniella not fooling around. You're right, George. He gets Holdridge out of there and gets Timlin on.
You don't want to get the Tigers too close. One more guy gets on base, a guy gets a double or something, drives in 2 runs. All of a sudden, now you have a 5-run or 4-run game. That's too close for this kind of bullpen. He's not going to take any chances. This isn't even a save situation yet, and he's bringing in a save man.
The bullpen has been the one thing that seems to come up in conversation more than anything else with the Seattle Mariners team. But Timlin has been outstanding of late. His last 31 innings, matter of fact, he's allowed only 3 runs. He will come on here inheriting a 2-ball, no-strike count to Davy Cruz. He's the number 9 man in the order, but boy, if he gets on, George, you've got the top of the order, the outfielders of Hunter, Beeman, and Higginson. Luis Gonzalez is among the pinch hitter opportunities that Buddy Bell would have.
Well, you got a pretty good chance of getting Higginson and Clark and Easley up there if this guy gets on base.
And indeed, Luis Gonzalez now on deck for Brian Hunter. So 2-0 the count, and Timlin takes the baseball from here. If you're just joining us, Griffey has not homered today, but McGuire has and Sosa has. 46 for McGuire. Sammy Sosa moving on up now, and Griffey, perhaps tomorrow. He'll have to wait, it would appear. Unless the Tigers come on back, put up a 6 spot here in the 9th. Two on, nobody out. Taking it 3-2.
Timlin's got a good fastball. The ball runs into right-handers a little bit. Got a good slider. Normally throws strikes. I remember when he came up with Toronto, I was still playing, and I tell you, I thought he had pretty good stuff. Really surprised he hasn't just taken over that Seattle Mariner bullpen, been the stopper that everybody thought he could be. He's got good enough stuff to do it.
Bouncing ball to third. Russ Davis will sprint to the bag and fire across. Not in time, but that a decent enough play to keep that positive visualization going, I would think, George.
He didn't look too sure of himself. Trying to get to that third base bag. It looked like he was a little tenderfoot. He caught the balls. He caught the ball all right. He was a little shaky catching that. But I just want him to get through this game. I think it'd be a big lift to him the rest of the season or going into tomorrow. Not only that, but he's got Saturday night off to spend it with your guys in the team. Go out and have a nice little dinner. Everything be nice and positive. Takes his time right there.
And a 2-home run day for Russ Davis. Here's Luis Gonzalez to pinch hit. Still 2 on, now 1 out.
There's that good sinker.
Timlin also has learned a 2-finger changeup from Bill Swift. And he's been floating that in as well. Aims it on the outside corner. That was a heat that time. 1-1. Check swing from Gonzalez, and the count 2-1. Mike Timlin, the former Toronto Blue Jay. In fact, he was the guy who made the play that got the Blue Jays their first World's Championship in '92, tying man at third in Game 6. And the Braves' Otis Nixon tried to drag bunt with 2 out. Timlin, a rookie, came down to make the play.
It's worked out pretty good for Buddy Bell. Give your veteran a day off, rest him after a doubleheader, and now you get to pinch hit him in the 9th inning in a meaningful situation. Kind of tough to keep on pitch hitting rookies all the time. It's a good situation for Louis.
Infield looking for the ground ball double play that would end the game. Gonzalez waves through it. He is disposed of, and there's 1 out left to get.
Well, we said he had a good sinker and a good slider. Here's the good slider right there, breaking down and into a left-handed hitter. Great location for that pitch with 2 strikes.
And Seattle looking to make it 3 in a row here in Detroit. 5 out of 6 overall. On the plus side, the Tigers in danger of dropping to 2-9 in their last 11. Powell would get the loss. He'd go to 2-3, and Ken Cloud would even his record at 7-7 with the win. He had a 7 strikeout day.
Barring arm trouble, I think both those guys are going to be pretty good pitchers in the major league level, especially that Cloud.
This afternoon, none from Griffey, but a couple from Russ Davis. Edgar Martinez popped 1 out to left field. And Rob Goosey got it all started back in the 3rd. Perhaps too little too late for Seattle. On the larger scale, they'll get to it in 9 games of 500, but they've got miles to go in that AL West. And they're not going to touch the wild card. The corner, it is 2-1. And George, meantime, these Tigers, who will slip to a season worst 22 under 500. I guess it's just still looking ahead to 99.
You're looking ahead, you keep playing every day. You hope to see some improvement from some of their young players.
Beeman, the fly ball to left field. And that'll do it. Ball game is over. The Mariners take it 9-3, and Lou Piniella's team now, since the Randy Johnson trade, has not been playing bad baseball.
No, they're not playing bad at all. I tell you, what Lou said in the pregame was great. He said, hey, I don't think we've quit, but we go out there and we play hard every day, and that's what these guys are doing. They haven't conceded anything yet. Go out there and give me an honest effort, and we'll see what happens by the end of the season.
Ducey led off the home run parade. Edgar Martinez followed. And then Russ Davis had a couple. 9-3 is your final score. Seattle has now won 5 of 6. For George Brett, Josh Lewin saying so long from Detroit. Again, 9-3 Seattle, your final. Chip Carey and Steve Lyons will be along in our L.A. studios with more right now.
Okay, the home run derby is on. Steve Lyons, Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire each have unloaded today. Big Mac went yard for the Redbirds. Sammy Sosa in the 9th inning, a dramatic 2-run homer to tie the game for the Cubs. He's got 44. McGuire's got 46. And the Redbirds and the Cubbies battle on into bonus panels at Busch Memorial Stadium. Hi again, everybody. Welcome back to the Fox Network Center. Chip Carey along with Steve Psycho Lyons. Let's run down the scoreboard from action earlier today. The game many of you just saw. The Mariners beat the Tigers 9-3.
Much of a challenge from anybody in the Central Division of the American League.